Yeah, baby. Wonder if all my bad decisions get accounted in the algorithms. No statistician could dissuade me from my bigger vision. I know my occupation's quite an unlikely place in this world to occupy and talk about upon a daily basis. Our information's predetermined by some biased business. We all in sermon to silicon that push out lovely neighbors. I'm done with paper chasing, think I'm on to bigger banquets. This that full circle, new wave, energy on a Tuesday. Turn a blue day to a bright hue, yellow with a smooth A in hair, extra fruit the brand. You can't move me, the music is man. It's a con job, but this grand. Been blessed with a great hand amongst many that stank. And yeah, it took some hard work, but blind luck play a huge role. And if they say that it don't, then they feeding you fool's gold. And if I know one thing, the truth's home. Even if it's a tough thing to swallow, an even harder thing to hold and truly know without a doubt while on the globe. And even though that seems inherent, it ain't always so apparent. Dangle carrot, you ain't always gonna get it. But don't worry, it's a pretty February in a year with more to carry, and more days is yet to come under the sun, taking the ferry to the city where the moment's extra pretty, like the people, like the idea that I keep inside my brain that isn't equal to the real world. All that stress ain't saving me fear though. I swear to God I'm trying, but they pushing their demons down my esophagus, screaming the easy life, what I want always. Praise made up holidays, tell me that love is the answer just to boost this economy. Buy more, sell now, but I ain't following. I ain't a hollow man, I'm fuller than fall winds. Take it all with a tall grin, and if you feel it, do it with me. And just sing what the song says. Take it all for what it is. It ain't all so big. So big, so big, so big. Take it all for what it is. What it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It ain't all so big. It ain't all so big.
All right, guys, can y'all hear me now? Dr. Steele, can you hear me now? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Hey, Jedi, can y'all hear me now? Thank you. Thank you, Sean. So listen, let me do all that again. Y'all missed my hello. We should just start all over so y'all can hear my song and all that again, right? What it is, what it is. No, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna go back that far because y'all know what it is. But anyway, we were struggle streaming, but now,
Dearly beloved,
y'all see when people try to take over the show, how they do. You see, Mr. Boss is in control of these things. He had me muted, right? Then all he wants to do is drop his bombs so everybody can hear his bombs right in the middle of me saying hello. You know, what kind of... Anyway, like I always say, hello, 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 y'all. It's me, SB. Nope.
dearly beloved.
Okay. But anyway, it's been a fantastic Monday. I have worked all day long. Just wanted to let y'all know I do that. I do. And Mr. Bob is showing out, y'all. Y'all see that? He's trying to do his camera. He's just so excited about the new studio and us doing a daytime show. He just can't wait. And I'm just like, no, It's not quite time yet. Coming soon. But anyway, y'all know what's up tonight. It's Monday night, and it's me and Mr. Black Man Unfiltered. Come on up here, Black Man.
Mr. Boss.
Mr. Boss is showing out, ain't he, Black Man?
Oh, I love Mr. Boss. Mr. Boss, what's going on, man?
He's showing out, right? I mean, he's not trying to work with me today. I don't know what's going on with him.
That's my guy, man. That's my guy.
He lucky I ain't got firing powers. If I had firing powers,
I'm surprised he hit that basketball horn on you.
because he's playing with something else. If he wouldn't have been doing that, he probably would have got me and probably still been. You know how you do.
Oh.
But listen, guys, thank you so much for being here. I got to get my sound together because I hear some clicking and some doing all of this, but I hope y'all can hear me well.
They say you look beautiful in the chat.
Oh, thank you, guys. Oh, I see. Anissa is here. Miss Sherelle is here. My ladies are coming out. I hope y'all are doing good today. Wow. Thank you, guys. So listen, they're just trying to get us on into it. But listen, before we do that, we need to do a little bit of around the world because there's some things that's happened. And I don't have all my information. So maybe Black Man, you can help me and maybe I can look it up while we're doing that. But there was a police officer that was a lady police officer that was shot in Chicago and killed this weekend. And guess what? You ain't heard nothing about it, have you? See there? See that? Now, see, I wear a uniform sometime. You know, it may or may not have a weapon on my side sometime. And I'm thinking, hey, so I'm going to just go unnoticed like this? But before we get into that, I want to look that up. But actually, Chaotic did he actually did a show on it earlier today, and brought it to my attention because otherwise I wouldn't have known. But it's some other things I want to go around the world on. But before we do that, let's say hello to a few people here. I got Mr. Cheeky. Hey, Cheeky, how you doing? Abuse the power. Set ablaze. Look, if I had firing powers, this is no joke. Listen, Mr. Boss, I'm see what he tune in on this. I used to quit our real professional job every 90 days. Every 90 days, I say I quit. He used to be like, what? I'd be like, quit, get somebody else to do your operations. He'd be like, okay, whatever. Then next minute, he'll be like, can you do this? I was like, oh my God, every 90 days, I used to quit our job. And I was like, I'm going somewhere else. And he was like, whatever. He used to tell me to sit down and shut up. I'm like, okay. But it's true. I used to do it. No lie. But anyway, let's speak to Tisha. How you doing? Dr. Steele, what's going on? Lovely peace. How are you? Miss Stella, it's so good to see you. I'm all backwards. I know Mr. Boss is like shaking his head like, wow, this woman today. We just not working together today, but he's going to take me back up to the top. And then we're going to start over. Clement, what's going on with you? Stella, I've already said hello, but Stella, you can get it twice. Edward Gilbert, Mr. Gilbert, what's going on? Kevin King, it's good to see you. JG, what's up with you? I hope you're doing well, Mr. C. Hello. Easy Money Jones is in the house. Sean, you helped me out today. Thank you so much. Dr. Steele, you always welcome. And hello. Micah. Let's see, Howard. You know what? We haven't seen you in a while. I hope you and your husband doing well. Queen BJD. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Listen, I love your engagement in the comment section. Keep it up. Mr. Howard, it's good to see you also. Did I miss somebody? Jedi, I already said hello to you, but I'm going to say it again because Tamika did not get to tune in. So you give something to her. How about that? Okay, let's see here. I said hello. Okay. So if I miss somebody, y'all know throughout the show, I be, giving y'all a little finger wave or Mr. Boss gonna put you up in the corner, but we see you and we acknowledge you. But when I get into it, when me and Black Man get into this thing, y'all, I'm telling you, I don't even pay attention to the comment section. I don't. Mr. Bryant, how are you? Good to see you. So that's my fault. Forgive me. I'm gonna get real good at this real soon. And I'm gonna be from over here to over there. Mr. Boss got me with 3 different camera angles. So I'm gonna be like comments over here, comment up there. So I would get to see it everywhere, right? So y'all it's coming. Salam, what's going on with you? It's good to see you. The accountability partner, what's up? So listen, Black Man, I heard that there's some things going over there in your neck of the woods. that we might need to touch on. I know you heard about it. I don't know how close it was to you, but there was, I shop at those type places sometime, Black man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And do you know about this? Yeah, do y'all know? Okay, so go ahead and tell us about the mass shooting that happened in Texas over this weekend.
Yeah, it was in Allen, Texas.
Okay.
Shooter, it's probably 35, 45 minutes from me. But yeah, shooter just went in there and opened fire. You know, they don't know any motive. I don't even know where to even start. I think I don't know what's wrong with people. I don't know why people can't go out as a family anymore and shop. It just. So I think what happened was, because I'm looking at it right now, I think what happened was the gunman, he killed 8 people. Or I'm sorry, deleted 8 people Saturday. He was 33 years old, and he is a neo. Y'all know another neo-Aussie sympathizer with an AR-15 style assault weapon. He was taken out by an officer who happened to be at the shopping mall center. And the victims included a young boy and his parents, 2 elementary school-aged sisters, a security guard working toward his goals, and an engineer with a new master's degree. Yeah, so he took out Caillou Song Cho, 37, Sydney Cho, 35, James Cho, 3. So that was the husband, the wife, and the son. He deleted all 3 of them. And then Daniela Mendoza, she was in 4th grade. Sophia Mendoza, which were sisters, she was in 2nd grade. Parents survived, but they didn't. Aisha Takunda was 26. Elio Camuna Ramirez is 32. And then Christian LaCour was 23. Yeah, the officer there was off duty, so he was just carrying. And he was the guy that saved the day. Him from deleting more people. Yeah, that's crazy. That's why I always say, security boss, I don't care where I am. I'm carrying everywhere I go. I have to, because if I were there, it'd been the same situation when I took him out immediately. He'd be gone today. Yeah. So, because I can't imagine walking to heaven for my children, which I always do, my wife and I and the children, and I just gunshots start ringing out when one of my kids get hit. I will probably go into a rage that will be unstoppable. It would be really bad.
I mean, you just can't imagine. I'm glad that off-duty police officer was actually there. Sean has said it was 9 people, but did they actually delete him also?
Yes, that's including him.
Oh, okay. So 9 including him. Okay. Yeah. Wow. So we'll never really know why he actually did this.
Well, I just told you he was a neo.
Okay, but so you feel as though
he shoot no white folks. There's everybody of color, of another race.
Wow. So listen, I don't even know what to say, y'all. Y'all listen, pay attention to where you're going. It's getting to the point now, though, you feel, I know I do. I feel very uncomfortable, of course, going out without my husband, but going out, period. You know, it's almost like you can't even, you got your head's got to be on a swivel. You got to have your stuff in your pocketbook, and you got to know where the exits are. But listen, this is an outside outlet, isn't it?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah. The stores, this built it's real nice out there. And you just go in there, and it's not in a bad part of town. It's in a great part of town. The houses over there are $500,000, $1 million houses over there. So Allen, Texas is a very upscale part of Texas.
So he probably knew who lived in the area.
Yeah. They just built a $63 million football stadium over there for high school. Wow. So think about that. So it's a very high scale area. And so people just didn't think that could happen over there, but it did. He just started targeting people that weren't white and just started opening fire on them. And I think that, again, when we say racism don't exist, I mean, here's another video for you to watch, another news story for you to watch.
Wow, you're right. So listen, I got some information on the young lady. Her name is looks like Arena Nay. Preston. She was 24 years old. The off-duty Chicago police officer was who was shot and killed on Saturday morning. She was 24 years old, y'all. She was Preston was shot dead at deleted at 81st and South Blackstone in the Avalon Park neighborhood just before 2 a.m. She was getting off from work and someone deleted her. She was rushed to the hospital. She was off. She was going home.
Oh, okay.
She was off duty. The police in Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot did not offer any details about who is suspected in the shooting at the press conference held a few hours after her death. But they did say that officer who was shot and killed identified. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not even sure.
So they don't know who did it?
I don't see right here. No, they didn't offer anyone.
Yeah, they won't. They won't find out who did that.
She said, spare no expense to bring the perpetrator to justice. Miss Lightfoot say, go out there and get him. Wow. This young lady was 24 years old, y'all. Civil servant taken away. Y'all ain't heard nothing about it.
Nope.
This was on Saturday. They ain't mentioned it.
But they're not going to. What color was the girl? What color was the officer?
She was African American. She's a black girl.
Oh, okay. That's probably why. Because think about it. When a white cop gets shot over there, or you hear about that, because they don't talk about anything over there. The 13-year-old girl gets shot. But just go look at the news. The 6-year-old black little boy got shot. That's not in the news. They're not putting that out there.
Okay, y'all. So listen, ladies, this is why I always want the women to be covered. I know y'all say everybody ain't wanting to be married. I agree, y'all. But ladies, I need for y'all to pay attention, and I would love for all you all to be covered. If you ain't living at home with your mama and daddy, and you get your husband, maybe you can move different. Why was this young lady at 2 a.m. in the morning getting off from work, having to come home at 2 a.m. in the morning, by herself? I don't know the situation, but anyway. So listen, today though, our women's modern men expectation of fairy tale, y'all. Now listen, we're talking about this because y'all know I be doing about cruise season situation. And on last Wednesday, you sure did. Last Wednesday on cruise season. Listen though, y'all, I know sometimes it's kind of hard to listen to because sometimes it's kind of hard for me to go back and forth, but I really feel like we're getting somewhere. I know y'all may not think that, but I really feel like we getting somewhere. It's hard, but I'm feeling as though we having some breakthroughs just because we're asking questions and we moving to a different side. Because like today is going to bring us to another point. But, are the expectations of modern women, is it a fairy tale? Because anyway, let me go back a little bit. On Wednesday, there was a time in the show where I just said to the young ladies that I feel as though men would love for you ladies just to understand them. Just to understand. And black men, you know what I mean by understand.
Mm-hmm.
That means that have some compassion for me.
Some empathy.
Yeah, just a little bit. Some empathy. Just try to stand in my shoes for just a
little bit.
Yep. I know you can't beat me. Because I will never know what Mr. Boss has to go through as a black male. I could never experience it.
Right.
Never.
Right.
But if he comes in here and tells me, babe, I had a hard day for whatever reason, I just need to say, babe, well, tell me about it. Just let me understand. I don't need to come back here and say, that with nothing. What you talking about?
Right.
You ain't done nothing today. Just sit down and shoot. What about all these kids or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Just make up something. He just wants me to understand. And I really believe, ladies, that the men just want us to understand. Now, it's most things as women or as ladies, as wives, what have you, we can't fix. We cannot fix them. But they just really want us to be there to listen because guess what? That's what we're supposed to do as helpmeets. That's what God created us for. We're the emotional piece for the man's logic. So when he comes in and he's just frustrated and about to blow a gasket, we can bring it down for him. We can rub his bald head and be like, babe, it's good. Whatever, hold his hand, rub his hand. We can just listen. And even if it's our brother, even if somebody we don't know, even if it's the homeless man out there on the corner looking thirsty, Bro, what you need? Let me give you 50 cents. Shoot. You know?
But according to some of the less feminine women that were on the panel with you, that men are supposed to just have it all together and then bring it to them when they have it all together.
Well, we're going to talk about it. But listen, before we talk about it, we got to look at the video, because we're going to let all of it speak for. We don't want to put words in people's mouth. We want everyone to speak for themselves, and then we want some answers. So this is why I say we moving forward, because I really don't think we've ever come to this far before. You could tell me, but I think we are at a good place right now, because you black men are going to help us with some answers. We want to hear what this completeness looks like. And I have some men in the comment section and some ladies in the comment section. And after this all is done, we're going to drop the link and we're going to continue this conversation, because I want to know about this completion. We got 2 videos we want to see. Okay, let's just start off with this first one. The first one, y'all, is just it's a little joke, a little eye opener. So pay attention. Here we go.
Welcome to God's Finest. How can I help you today? Yes, I'm looking for a husband. Awesome. Now I'd like to ask you a few questions about yourself first. How old are you? 45. Okay, and do you have any kids? 4 to 5. 4 to 5. I got one on the way. Okay, do you have a job? I'm the world's baddest chick. That's my occupation. Do you cook? I serve looks, ma'am, not plates. Stop playing with me. I'm the main entree, the dessert, man, I'm the whole table. And what exactly are you looking for in a man, ma'am? I want a man who's 6 foot and above, fit, handsome, willing to take care of me and my 4 to 5 kids, and makes a minimum of at least $600,000 a year. So where my husband at? In your imagination. Goodbye. Come on, Day Day. Come on.
Okay, guys, listen, that was a bit extreme. We know it was, but it was cute. She had 4 or 5 kids. She really didn't know how many she had. She wanted a man to make 600,000. I guess if you got 4 or 5 kids, you might need that. But that was just, a joke. It was just extremes, and we're just making fun. But this is the real deal right here. Go ahead, Mr. Boston, play this video. Women are made for that.
Yeah, but men are also
hold on.
supposed to provide for that woman.
I got you.
First, the man is the initiator, and he's supposed to be the one that does everything first, and the woman is the receptor, and she's going to multiply whatever comes from him.
Maybe.
So he needs to do what he needs to do first, and once you got that together, then don't you think that half of that would solve half the problems? Whatever else isn't solved, then we can have a conversation about how we can fix that. But a lot of dudes stop doing bullshit and actually being on top of their shit will fix like half of the problems that we have. Really saying men understand women? No, they don't. Yes. Okay, no, they don't. They will go outside, act crazy, cheat on her, and then she's ranting and raving, and they'll go, I don't know why she's mad. I don't know why she got a bad attitude. I just don't understand why she's always nagging me, and da-da-da-da-da.
All right, so listen, guys, I know y'all heard it, but I want to hear just one more time. We can't slow it down, but I want to hear it one more time, because I want you all to please pay attention, because what we're looking for is the fact that modern women today may be under the impression that men need to be complete, but which is fine, which is good actually, but we need to figure out what complete looks like. So can you play that video once more? Women are made for that.
Yeah, but men are also
hold on.
supposed to provide for that woman.
I got you
first. The man is the initiator, and he's supposed to be the one that does everything first, and the woman is the receptor, and she's going to multiply whatever comes from him.
Maybe.
So he needs to do what he needs to do first, and once you got that together, then don't you think that half of that would solve half the problems? Whatever else isn't solved, then we can have a conversation about how we can fix that. But a lot of dudes stop doing bullshit and actually being on top of their shit will fix like half of the problems that we have. Really saying men understand women? No, they don't. Yes. Okay, no, they don't. Then we'll go outside, act crazy, cheat on her, and then she's ranting and raving, and they'll go, I don't know why she's mad. I don't know why she got a bad attitude. I just don't understand why she's always nagging me. And da-da-da-da-da.
All right, we back. Okay, so guys, y'all heard that. We will play that again throughout, the conversation, but this is real. Miss Kayla was honest, and I appreciate the fact that she was honest and she shared her actual thoughts. So for a woman, or for modern women today, and Kayla may not speak for everyone, but for her, she thinks that a man needs to do everything first. So he's supposed to provide, he's supposed to do everything first. Now, I don't know what everything actually looks like for her, but we are actually starting the conversation. But let me say this. In the beginning, God made man. He gave man authority and dominion over all things.
Dearly beloved,
Man came first. He took care of everything, named everything. Everything was good, but God said, no, I'm not done yet. So he took from the man, the rib, and created a woman.
For what?
To procreate with him. And be fruitful and multiply and be his helpmate.
Oh, no, stop. There it is right there. We ain't got to talk about it no more. There you go right there.
Well, let's say it different. He made her to be his helpmate, or helpmeet, most Bibles would say. And he told him to go be fruitful and to multiply. That was the first example of a marriage, right?
Right.
So y'all understand this. The man is the man without us. They don't need us to be men. So my number one thing I tell all women is that we can't change a man. A man has to grow up and become and mature into the man that he is going to be. There's nothing a woman can do about that. Now, for me, I heard so much frustration in that young lady's voice. I need to know. I said, I got to take this to a man. So she's under the premise too that providing, protecting, and provision, all that stuff is something a man's supposed to do. But she's also under the impression that it all should come first, and then he finds his wife, which most men would say that's the case. But guess what? Are you willing, ladies, to accept what that man is bringing? That's where we are, because a man could very well be ready to be a husband and he would present himself to you. But is it good enough for you? Or do I need to go out? Or should he go out and get it together and then come back? Because see, when me and Mr. Boss met, the man had a plan. I knew what he was going to be. Had he totally fulfilled that? No. But I knew who he was. First, God-fearing. Second, plan. Third, was an entrepreneur. Okay? I knew that is who he was. I knew it. So I didn't have a problem following. Whether it was a little bit of money, no money, lots of money, I was good because I knew of the plan and I knew who the man was. Now, for me, I think that's what we're lacking right now. I don't think we understand that that's the way that it goes. But black men, what I want you to help me with is the man doing everything first, because me and Mr. Boss, we build together. And in us building together, he trusts me, I trust him. We don't have all these issues that come about now. We don't. And I think it comes from the fact that we decided to build together, but he still was a man. And we're having problems right now. Ladies are having problems recognizing what a man looks like, unless he got a whole lot of money. So let's just get started. All right, black man, you take it from there.
Listen to that. It's like this, security boss. It's like they want the man to go ahead and build the entire house, and then when he's done, they want to be able to walk into it. They want to be able to walk into it already, take care of all the furniture in there, right? Poor Kayla. Now I will say this, shout out to her, because Kayla is a beautiful girl. She's a very attractive woman. It's just something up top. that ain't dinging. And I do believe that with that attitude and that mindset, that baby ain't gonna never be married. She'll find a lot of men that want to lay, but no men that want to build and pay. Not with her. She wants something that she will never get from a man. She wants a man to go out and acquire everything and then come back to her like she's a god or something. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand her. I don't understand the way she thinks. She get a lot of energy talking about preaching about things that will not get a husband, but I never see her with the same energy talking about what it takes to get a husband. So that's where I'm at with it. Right.
So let me ask you a question, because in her defense,
bless her heart,
I'm thinking that maybe her example is her father. And, you know, seeing your dad as a dad versus seeing him as a husband may look like perfection. But we never went and asked mama how is this really going. you know what I'm saying? Or what did you have to build with dad? Because nobody's coming completely built, black man. That's not happening.
Nope.
And I would think you would want a man that you can build with. I wouldn't think you want to. What is this completeness we're talking about? What is that? What does that look like? What do you think it looks like, black man?
Well, there is no such thing. Nobody's perfect. Everybody is striving every day to be the best they can be for the people who are aspiring to be the best they could be. When it comes to Kayla, she wants a man to do something that she's not willing to do.
And what would that be?
Or no, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. She wants a man who is already doing the things that she has not started doing. So basically, she's telling him, "I'll start when you finish."
Well, she did. She said, "Provide first, do everything first, and I will receive, and then I would multiply." Is what she said.
Right? Yeah, that's not how that works. We build together, right? And, okay, so that's just like me. If I were to get with her, and if I were with Kayla, and I went and did everything. And then I came back and say, baby, it's done. And then we want to start a family and she gets pregnant. And I tell her, oh, we having a little boy? Well, when you get through raising him as a toddler, when he becomes a young man, then I'll start raising him.
But do you think she's speaking for a lot of people, a lot of young women, or do you think that she's speaking for herself? Because I'm having an issue when it comes to this complete thing. Because again, well, let me say it this way. Do you think men agree with her? Any man?
I mean, yeah, betas. Yeah, they agree with her because they look at her body and how she looks and say, I'll take a chance and do that. Right?
Well, no, black man, this ain't about her because I got people in my young ladies in my comment section pretty much saying the same thing. You know, these men ain't doing this. These men ain't doing that. They need to do this and do that. And then we will follow.
Security boss, this is the thing. They want these men to come well equipped, security boss. But are men well equipped for what they're going to bring? We got to deal with the trauma of all the men you slept with. We got to raise children that don't belong to us. Right? We got to deal with your daddy issues. We got to deal with your mama issues. So you want me to go out and build all of this and then take a hit when you come into the picture and I'm dealing with your attitude because of what daddy did or what mama did, your abandonment issues because daddy and mama were never there. All the people you had sex with and laid with, all those bodies you bring into me. You want a man to go build everything and be ready, but are you ready? Are you healed? Are you healed from the things that you've done? Right? Because like I said, again, the average mother right now is 21 years old. They're choosing babies over marriage. And even I'll add this, I know we're not talking about this crazy woman, but even with the Ebony K. Williams situation, she did an interview prior to this thing that blew up. And she said she was at a sperm bank looking for a black man's sperm, and there's no black man's sperm in the sperm bank. So she wants to be a baby without having a father. She want to be a baby mama. So it's like,
but listen, we're not going to use Kayla anymore. I'm telling you that this is what today's modern woman is saying. This is what I want you to do for me if you haven't already. I want you to tell me, because Ricky was trying to say something at the time, and you know they ain't gonna let Ricky talk. But I need you to tell me, I need you to tell me what exactly is the kingdom man responsible for? Because that's what we need to let people know.
Yes.
Ladies need to understand what a kingdom man is responsible for in a relationship / marriage, so they'll know that, or know when their expectations are a fairy tale or delusional, however you want to say it. Because I think this is the problem. I don't think that women actually know what the expectation is for a man. I just really think that they think that his whole thing is to be there for them, when God clearly said, I think you need to be there for him.
Exactly.
So I'm willing to keep these women, keep women in their role, let them know what it is, give them all the information. So because I think sometimes if we have the whole story, we can do better with it. Now, this doesn't mean that it makes a man perfect.
Right.
It doesn't mean that he's not going to be flawed or because she go on to say he out there cheating and doing all this, and he thinks
the extremes.
Yeah. I don't want to talk in extremes. I just want to talk about people in regular life. So can you tell me, what does kingdom man do, or what is he responsible for in relationship marriage?
A kingdom man, it's a simple definition. A kingdom man, he's a male Christ follower. He follows Christ. He submits himself to the rule of God completely, 100%. He prioritizes pleasing and obeying God above everything. And he rejects the world systems because he's under the order of God. So he follows everything that the word says, basically, right? God above man, man above woman, woman over children, man the authority over his family, right? He goes by that. And then he also goes by the fact to understand that his wife is not a doormat to be abused physically or verbally or anything that way, but she's not a doormat. However, she's his help. And so he also believes that his wife is his help. So this defeats the purpose of the video, what the young lady was saying, because God, a kingdom man, follows what God says. What she was referring to is a worldly thing, and a kingdom man rejects the world system because he's following what God says. So if she's the helpmate and she's coming in to help me, then that means I don't have to go out and go get everything in order to please a woman of God, because you got to put that in there. A woman of God as well. If she's a woman of God, I don't have to do that because she's building. The Bible teaches us in Proverbs 31 the same thing, right? If she wakes up in the morning before everybody while her husband's out working, she's looking for other streams of income to bring into the house, and he has rule over that. So I don't understand the notion that, oh, you have to go get everything before I can do anything. That just doesn't add up. So if she's looking for a kingdom man, a God-fearing man, right? A man who submits himself truly to the rule of God, and he prioritizes pleasing God and obeying God. If she's looking for that with this attitude, she will never have it. She will have a man that will always say what she wants to hear. He'll get what he wants to get, and then he'll be getting out. And I land my plane there.
There's something else I want you to look up. If you could go over to, I know it's in Corinthians, where it talks about love, because what a husband does or is required for a wife to do for his wife is to love her.
Yep. That's
a requirement. That's in Ephesians, right? And teach her. Did y'all hear what I'm telling you? This is the requirements. That's what husbands have to do. Love your wife.
I'm ready.
And okay, you want to discuss now what love is? Go ahead and tell us.
Absolutely, guys. Again, under the rule of God, kingdom man. So we started there. But then the Bible says, for husbands, love your wives. Wives, respect your husbands.
Wait a minute, hold on for a minute. Chicky said, why are you talking about God when everyone act like heathens? You know why? Chicky, you know why? Because it's about time out for you, heathens. Everybody, for heathens to stop pointing the finger at each other. Exactly. And they need to get themselves together. Exactly. It ain't no other way to do it but to tell them what's right. This is why. Because see, you got this woman over here that's a heathen, don't know nothing about God. I heard somebody already say it. Know nothing about marriage, God, or any of that, but is requiring or trying to make a man be a God, a kingdom man, trying to make him You got to do this. You can't be cheating on me. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do none of that. But he don't know nothing about it. He knows nothing about it.
Exactly. And we have to understand that God is not, when we talk about God and heathens, I like the word heathen. When we talk about God and heathens, if you look throughout the 66 books, every person that God used was a heathen. Right? Noah was an alcoholic. Moses was a womanizer. Right? David slept with another woman and had her husband deleted. Right? All the men in the Bible who were used for great things started out doing something or making a mistake that God helped them and guided them through. So I think that we don't look for in God, we don't look for perfection. We look for direction. And I think that's what God is for. And so if we go into the definition of love, it says here in 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, it says, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. Meaning, right? Me. You got to go do this. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. That means when it ain't going right, don't take flight, because it says loves endure all things, good, bad, ugly, and on. And it says love never ends. That's
so,
it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
No, so my point is, Cheeky, and I'm glad you said that, is that we're so far out of order, we can't even see ourselves. It's hard to see yourself anyway. But instead of me pointing a finger at someone else or the man and saying, I'm requiring you to be this way, I felt it necessary to let everyone know what exactly is required of the man.
Right.
And then we can go to what is required of the woman. So if we're falling short of that, then what rules and regulations are we actually following? So in other words, there will be none. So whatever you get, you get. In other words, if I'm acting out of order and I'm going through life doing wrong things, I'm sexually liberated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dropping it like it's hot. Yeah. I'm guacking. Then why should I expect to get anything other than the equivalent?
Right. And right. And Cheeky said something in the chat. He said, so let's be forgiven about women's sexual history, children that comes from another man. Absolutely. Let's forgive them, but we don't have to be with them. I'm talking specifically about marriage and becoming together as a nuclear family. You don't have to forgive something when you already did what God asked you to do. So if a woman says, you know what, I'm not going to be out in the streets giving it up to everybody, and a man decides I'm not going to do the same, I'm just going to be with a woman and do what God asked me. The kingdom man. So we're not talking about the man. We're talking about men who aspire to say, you know what, I'm not going to be out here getting out collecting bodies. And a woman is saying, I'm not going to be out here giving my body. And they decide that they want to meet someone, love someone, and follow what the man is saying and being a godly man and a protector and all this other stuff. We're talking about those particular people who are in marriages that don't have to forgive each other for the things that they're not participating in. So
I'm actually talking to the ones that are blaming the other ones for the problem.
Absolutely.
That's who I'm talking to. Because if you know better, you're supposed to do better. I cannot blame someone. And I've always said this. That's why I'm only talking to women. That's why I talk to women and tell them, hey, listen, if you want a good man, a man that's going to be monogamous in a relationship, a man that's going to love you, take care of you, all these wonderful things, then you need to first work on yourself.
Exactly.
You got to be that woman that God has told you you're supposed to be.
Right.
So Chicky says, okay, gotcha. Y'all speaking about a specific type of man.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so. But see, because guess what? We got women complaining about a specific type of man, right?
Well, at
this point ain't no man good enough, right?
Right. Well, the kingdom man, because I've been on I was on a panel Saturday. Was it Saturday? The kingdom man is not popular. The kingdom man is he's what's the word that they using today? He's weird. He's boring. He do too much. So that definition of kingdom man, women don't want that. Women want exciting, right? Women want arguing. Women want drama from trauma. And I'm not saying what I think. I'm not thinking this on my own. I'm telling you from what I hear. The young ladies at my job say they want to be married. They're in their 20s. But she said, I need a man that's bigger than me and aggressive with me, because she said I'm toxic and I need him to be toxic too. And I'm like,
listen, Marcus says women, we get blamed for everything being men. Marcus, I'm not blaming you at all. Not at all. I'm just saying to you, you giving the women what they're giving you. So if a woman, I haven't seen you, if you're complaining, not you, Marcus, but if I saw a group of men complaining, and they were complaining somewhat like Miss Kayla was, and they was that aggressive and that frustrated in their complaints, I would ask them too to check themselves. I would be like, what are you seeing out there? What's going on? You know, damn, you describing me for sure. Cheeky. That's sad. Listen, Cheeky, we're talking about people who are moral also. You know, not everybody believes in God.
Right.
You know, and I'm not talking about a particular religion. I'm not. You know, I'm talking about what God has said that marriage is. When we talk about marriage, I'm not talking necessarily about being a Christian. I'm not talking about Jewish. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, are you morally, we're looking for moral people. When I hear women complain, the major complaint is he cheated on me. First thing. And then I hear men speaking and they say, you know what? It's not natural for a man to be monogamous. So guess what? We're missing each other already. We got women over here that want a monogamous man in a relationship. They want to be married, but then we got men that are saying that that's unnatural. So guess what? Them groups ain't going to get together. So of course we got to go somewhere where there's a blueprint for what marriage should look like and say, okay, what does marriage supposed to look like? It's supposed to look like this. And then we follow what it's supposed to look like. And then if it's not looking like that, we need to figure out, okay, so if you want that, then you have to do this, ladies.
Exactly.
If you want this, go ahead.
Exactly. And one of the things that I'll be talking about tomorrow is picking up on security balls. I don't know how we tying up, but if you can see on my thumbnail for tomorrow, we're talking about a sexless marriage. So a lot of women are saying that they want to be married and then they take the step to be married and then they stop fulfilling what it is to be married. Right. So the work is not being done inside the marriage. So now we got to get people together and then now they got to do the work to stay together. Right. It's not just saying I do. It's staying true. It's say, hey, listen, I have a position in this marriage. I have to make love to my husband. I have to make sure my husband's taken care of. I have to help my husband. Right. And so I just think that we're at a place right now that women say, no, we're making too much money. I had a girl tell me the other day, I don't care what God say, because what did she say? Because God is misogynistic.
Okay.
Because he want the man to be over everything. What the woman gonna be over? Okay. You know, I went back and forth with her for a little bit. It wasn't anything disrespectful, but I was like trying to get her to understand. But after a little bit, I say, nah, this ain't gonna work.
Well, she's already told you she didn't believe in the system. That was you wasted your time on that conversation.
Yeah.
But listen, I want to stay right here for just a minute because I got to show you people something. When men are saying that they are leaders and they want their woman to submit, I need to know if that ain't coming from the principles of God. I need to know where that came from. And when a woman is over here telling the man, I need you to protect, provide, and what else they say? Protect, provide, what else have we talked? Lead and all the things that, you know, where is that coming from? We ain't just pulling it up. The air didn't bring that. Influence. That came from somewhere. But no, what I'm saying, the concept of that is God.
Yeah.
The concept of that is marriage. So if you don't want marriage, let's just stop talking about it. But we need to stop playing around and saying to men that we need you all to be this. I need you to be a leader. You ain't a leader. If you lead, I'll follow. We need the women to stop talking about I want provision. We need the women to stop talking about I need protection. We need them to stop if they're not willing to be the wives that the men have promised to do that with. It needs to stop. Don't talk about something if you're not going to be about it.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing for the men. Men, if you want a woman to be submissive, I've always said this, she's got to fear God. She got to, or she's not going to be able to do it, y'all.
Because in her fear of God, right? Because she's trusting God as well as you are. In her fear of God, she says, you know what? I'm already built for this. God has already ordained my life to be a helpmate to this man. And I'm already going to be automatically submitted to this man. You see, that's what I think the men are making a mistake, is getting with the woman and saying, will you submit? No. When you meet her, God should already led you to this woman, right? He who finds a wife, he should have already led you to the woman. And when you meet that woman, she's already built herself under the radar of what God wants from a woman, and she's ready for you already. She already comes packaged ready for you, right? It shouldn't be any, will you be submissive? Why you won't be? No. You shouldn't have to ask that. It's already in her.
Oh, how about this? Where is your femininity? She ain't gonna have it, y'all. She is not going to have it if she doesn't have a reverence for something that is greater than her. And that's what it is. You have to have a reverence for and want to carry on the order that was put forth.
Right. We got to stop serving. And another thing, we got to stop serving mama and got to stop and start serving God. Because what happens is we made a religion. It's called Mama Baptist. And now we going to mama, and mama telling us all her bad experiences and saying, girl, I wouldn't do this. And even with my brother, shout out to my brother, his mom told his wife, my sister-in-law, that don't let your right hand know what your left hand doing. Don't let a man know what you making. Don't let a man know what you, how much money you bringing in. Don't all that. And she started out in their marriage just like that because she was listening to mama, but not listening to God. What is God saying? You know, I think that's where we're losing, Security Boss. We're losing because nobody's listening to what God is saying. It's written in the book. Right? They
don't want to hear it. They're living by worldly standards, and the worldly standards are giving them exactly what they ask for. It's exactly what they live, and they enjoy it, but then they don't want it.
Right.
What is going to make a man be monogamous when you know, like you said, when you know you're going with a woman that has laid with however many men prior? What's going to make a man do that?
And you know what's crazy, Security Boss, is that women are out here complaining. Help me get this out. I've seen women out here I'm not going to say complaining because I'm trying to be nice. I see women out here have a concern, and they're sharing videos, and in those videos they're saying, my husband, now that he needs to come in and be a part of making me want to be sexually active with my husband, is he got to start early in the morning. He got to communicate. He got to help me fold the clothes. He got to help me do this. He got to kiss me a certain way, or touch me a certain way, get me warmed up for sex. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, but if your husband accepted you, did those other 35 men you sleep with, did they have to have those same requirements? Because they didn't help you around the house. They didn't help you fold clothes. They didn't wash. They didn't have to do anything, right? And so what needs to happen, women, so when a man marries a woman who has a high sexual past, just promiscuous past, then it has to be understanding on both sides. Now all of a sudden you saying, I need to be warmed up. But 10 years ago, all he had to do was say, meet me in the backseat of the car. Meet me behind the movie theater, right? Let's have sex at your mama house, right? It wasn't none of that. So I think the men, I'm going to say this, Security Boss, men, go get this book. It's called No More Excuses by Tony Evans. Just go get it. And that book right there will teach you. All right. I done read the book 10 times, but it'll teach you how to deal with family, world issues, how to stand 10 toes down and what God wants you to do and not be moved. Right. Because there's so much temptation for men to move. Earlier today, I heard my sister Shushu say there's a man that wrote a book. And a man and a wife wrote a book. He's a beta, but the man wrote a book. And in that book, he said that men, this is a new time for women, and men basically need to conform to women because women are making more money. So now men have to dummy themselves down, their leadership, how they handle their families, what they do. Now they have to dummy themselves down because women are making more money. There is not a man that I know where there are some betas out here. But there's no way if my wife tomorrow gets a promotion and she's making $500,000 a year and I'm making $175,000 a year that I'm going to conform and bow to her. I am a man. It's never going to happen.
But you know what? We're still having the wrong conversation.
Okay,
because,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I don't mean like that. Not me and you.
Oh, no, okay.
I'm just saying we're still giving so much attention to the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is Cheeky and I think Sherelle were right. These people today, a lot of younger people today, they're not functioning in a moral place. They're really immoral and they're doing whatever they want to do. And we have a lost value system. And I think Dr. Steele put that there. We don't have one.
Right.
But when you living like that, you want to ask yourself, what makes you, what keeps you, why do you make good decisions versus bad decisions? You want to question yourself. You want to self-reflect on who you are, because you're trying to attract what you want. And the arguing and the disappointment in between, you shouldn't be having, because it doesn't make any sense. If this woman here is not aligning herself to be a wife, and we already know, then there should be no more conversation. If this woman is not this woman who says, I guess she's ready. Well, from what I'm understanding, women don't have to get ready. The man has to get ready, and then the woman will show up. Is that not how you heard it?
Lord, you know what's about?
So that's not going to happen. Go ahead.
You know who these women remind me of?
No.
They remind me of Dina.
I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm. Dina was the wife of Job.
Oh, okay. You mean, okay.
Now Job owned a lot. He had a lot of money, very high value man, had riches like you wouldn't believe, had a lot of kids, had legacy, had wheat, he had cattle, nice house, nice home. The boy was balling. And all of a sudden one day, God said, the devil said, if you take your hand off him, God, I'll make him curse you. He said, go ahead. He lost everything. Guess what the wife said? She was hypergamous. Guess what Dina said? She said, why don't you just cuss him out and just die? Ain't nobody want to deal with God no more. Cuss him out. That's what we're dealing with today. We got a lot of Dinas out that are saying, you ain't worried about what God say. We don't care what a kingdom man is. We don't care. It's my money. I'm keeping it to myself. I ain't doing no one pot. I'm gonna go, or these women are saying, I'm going to the sperm bank to get my kids. Like, it's just, it's a bad time, security boss, where women are saying, I want to be a baby mama. I would rather go get sperm from a sperm bank and become a baby mama than to be able to be married to a man to have a nuclear family. It's bad, but it's a lot of Dinas out here. A lot of Dinas are telling these men, forget about what God say and listen to me. Curse God by not doing what he asks him, not doing what he asks you guys to do.
But it goes further than that. It goes further than that, because like the two said, well, more than them said it, but Anissa is here. And I think Anissa had something in the comment section, but I do want to hear for the women, and Sherelle too, if you're still here. I want to hear for the women. What about a woman thinks that the man, or what about the man that should be fully and complete, that a woman is not willing to build with him? What are the men lacking? Or and I want to hear from the men too. What are the women lacking? But I already know what it is, but we're missing each other. We've been missing each other. Y'all been missing each other for a while now. It's time to say what the real problem is, and are we willing to fix it? Because when you say a man is supposed to be complete, that tells me you don't know order. And if you don't know order, you shouldn't be worried about being married. That even shouldn't come up in your, that shouldn't be a thought.
And you know what else? Right. She said these men are not Job, and she's absolutely correct. But let me say this too. Security boss, it could be something as simple as this. Like my sister Sherelle here, I could use her as an example. She don't care. It's like if I were married to Sherelle, and Sherelle went in and put something on revealing and say, I'm going out with my girls. A kingdom man is not going to allow something he covers to go outside uncovered sexually. Let me say it again. So if I say, Sherelle, baby, no. I understand you're going out with your mom and your friend. That's cool, right? Y'all going to have dinner. Cool. But baby, you're not wearing that. I will be considered a narcissist. I will be considered controlling. But this is what God told me to do as a man. As a kingdom man, I rule over what he put me over, right? So if my wife is headed out the door in something that I know it's going to bring the wrong attention and the wrong spirits around my wife, then it is my job to say, wife, you're not doing that. Or if she have 10 friends come over and they all say, we're going to Jamaica to have a girls trip. And I say, baby, that girls trip ain't for you. Right? That's what a kingdom man is. A kingdom man tells his wife. So yeah, you're right. A lot of men ain't Job, because a lot of men walking on eggshells because they scared you're going to leave them. They're scared if they stand up and be a man, they're scared you're going to walk out the door and not come back, or you're going to cheat with his homeboy or his coworker, or you're going to go and do something crazy, or sneak out and with your homegirls, or tell him you're going to be with your girls. Tell him you're going to be with your job and you out hanging out with your girls. You're getting drunk, you're smoking, right? So yeah, so when a man stands up to be who God created him to be, you know what? Can a kingdom, this should be the question. Can a kingdom man survive, security boss? Is a kingdom man accepted in the world that we live in today?
That is the question. But I was going to ask it another way. I was going to ask, what gave that man the right to say, I'm the leader?
Anissa says she want to call in, security boss.
Yeah, she said she on that Peloton. Go ahead, girl. You know what? If you a real trooper, you'll go ahead and call in and walk with us while you
exactly
walk with us while you walk. If you're a real trooper, I'm just kidding. I don't want you falling out, girl. I know that could get very hectic. But anyway, that's the question.
Okay, go ahead. Because I was going to answer a question real quick. Easy Money Jones said, BMU. I ask again, why would you marry a woman who would dress like that? Listen, what happens is you can marry a woman that's very well dressed, very well raised. But what seems to happen, Easy Money Jones, is that we get into a position where our minds, we start to get influenced by things, and we start saying, you know what, right? I heard women say, I'm not dressing like no pilgrim no more. I want to look sexy. I want to look delicious, right? And so what they do is they say, I'm gonna change the way I look. I'm putting the breast out there. You know what I'm saying? Get this dress a little bit tighter, right?
Go down a little further on the cleavage line. Jeans, you lose a little weight. Jeans get a little tighter. Easy Money, you being disingenuous, buddy.
And
don't play them games. Don't play them games now.
Exactly.
I know I am a woman, and I have never wanted to give myself away, or I've always felt like I was modest and dressed and conservative. But tell me I wouldn't put on some jeans that was tight. Now listen what I'm saying. They was tight for Mr. Boss. They wasn't tight for me. Right. You get what I'm saying? Right. They look good to me. But when he was looking at me and thinking about all the others that may be looking at me, he's like, oh no, baby, them ain't right. You know, I think you need to put on something a little loose. You know.
And thank you for being anecdotal, because I was going to do the same thing. Just this past weekend, my daughter I raised my daughter. She's 19, right? Mm-hmm. I raised my daughter a certain way, but then she went to college and lost her damn mind. And so what happened is she came home and she ordered some clothes. They came in. UPS brought the boxes in. So she said, we was taking my son out for his birthday yesterday, and she came out the room and I didn't pay no attention. I said, baby, all y'all ready to go? Let's roll. So we going out, we getting in the truck, and we getting ready to rock and roll. And she come out the house. I said, huh? I said, what? I said, whoa. I said, wait. I said, what you gonna do? I said, oh, you must not be going. I said, you finna go to sleep.
What she have on her pajama bottoms?
Oh no, ma'am. What? She had on some blue jeans, ripped at the blue jean, Daisy Duke shorts, ripped at the bottom, up her ass. And my wife said, oh, because as soon as my wife saw him, my wife said, oh, it's about to go down. My wife already knew it was over. And I told her,
know better. She did not. She didn't grow up in a house where her butt was allowed to be out. She knew better. So Easy Money, what you did was you asked black men a question, is why would you marry a woman like that? And the fact of the matter is we are grown up. We good. And we try to be God-fearing. But when it comes to what a woman sees herself as and how a man sees his wife, man, them two different mirrors. You know, it's different. So like I said, my jeans to me was like perfect. And to Mr. Boss, it was like, yeah, they look good, but I don't want nobody else looking. Right. So it was two totally different things. But, you know, that was who he is. And that's what he said. He was like, nah, baby, we got to do something different. You know, you can wear them this way. It even goes down to this. When we first got married, Mr. Boss didn't know that there was different types of T-shirts, right? I don't wear big clothes. My clothes fit me. Even down to our uniforms, we're very tailored like, you know. So we used to get these T-shirts, right? He's like, okay, baby, I'll pick up. You want to pick up your T-shirt? I got myself one. I was like, yeah, go ahead. And he'll pick this T-shirt up. And the T-shirt, I'm like, baby, I'm not wearing that. He's like, well, what's wrong? I said, baby, women don't wear T-shirts that look like that. They wear women. He's like, babe, I didn't even know there was a T-shirt made for a woman. You know, he didn't even know. I was like, no, they're supposed to fit us. And he was like, I'm so glad. Now, though, he'll say, like, if I put on a sweater and it's not fitted, you know, he'll say, baby, you don't look good in big clothes. You need to have your clothes fitted. So the point I'm trying to make is we as women see ourselves totally different, and we don't be thinking about the way men see us. So a woman will put on a fitted, nice dress that she saw in the magazine last week. I know I'm dead always in the magazines, y'all. the magazines are my actual, what you call them, stylist. The magazine style me. I see something in the magazine, I'm going to get it.
Right.
You know, and if a woman is done, especially a younger woman, sees something nice in a magazine put together well, she's trying to duplicate it. That does not mean that she is a hoe or whatever, but it may not be acceptable to a husband.
Right. And so let me finish what happened with my daughter. So I say, you must go to sleep. She said, what's wrong with this? Ain't nothing wrong with it. I said, I looked over at my wife. I said, baby, I need about 30 minutes. She said, okay. She said, go do what you got to do. Okay. I said, come here. Let me holler at you. I said, now you knew when you came out that room what I was going to say. I said, so you're testing me. I said, but you failed because you know for a fact that you're never going to walk out of my house with those shorts on. And I said, I don't even understand why you would even want to walk out the house. I say, have you lost respect for yourself? But, and then, you know, she, I don't want him, look, have you lost respect for yourself? Because I've taught you better. So what you're going to do is you're going to take those shorts off, right? And then I talked to her about cover. She said, I'm 19. I said, yeah, you're 19, but you're under my covering until I give you away. And when I give you away, when I get your husband and meet your husband and shake his hand real tight and pull him in close, when I give you away, then he'll take over and he'll be telling you the same thing about your clothes too, because you're gonna pick him right too. I mean, he's gonna pick you right too.
Yeah, that's real. That's a real thing. Women in their clothing is a real thing. We don't need to play those games. We don't. It's a slippery slope. And I got to be honest with you guys. Women are not aware. I'm not talking about Sierra now. I'm not talking about like that. She knew what the heck she was doing. I'm talking about like the tight, maybe the tight shirt or the tight jeans and stuff like that. Women are not aware of all of that all the time. So we do have to be, y'all do have to teach. I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it, but y'all do. Y'all have to teach. We have to follow your lead because you all know what a masculine man looks for and what they, their thoughts. So we need that. We need that type of guidance.
Right. And let me share this with you because a lot of people would say that's controlling, but there's a difference between being controlling someone and being in control. When people because women sometimes can't see, like you just said. Let me tell you what happened. My daughter is 14 years old and she's damn near built like Serena Williams. I want to homeschool her because she hit a growth spurt, secured the ball. I said, Lord, at my baby, Jesus. So she started playing softball. And I said to my wife, I said, I don't want her to have no male coach. She said, well, it was a female coach at first. So we went to a game. And some dude come out. I said, whoa. I said, babe, what I say about the coach? I said, I don't. She said, he must just started. So I asked my daughter, who is this? She said, oh, he just started, whatever. I said, no, you done. I said, I don't even like his aura. He matter of fact, he's a little too young to be coaching. He was in his early 20s, 21, 22 years old. Hell no. So I said, no, we're not going to do that. So just yesterday, Friday, my daughter came to me. She said, Daddy, the softball coach got fired. I said, got fired for what? Touching on the girls. I looked right at my wife. I said, what'd I tell you? My wife said, oh my God. I said, yes. I emailed the teacher at the school. I mean, the other lady at the school that's over the youth director over the sports. I say, what happened to the softball coach? She said, well, he was let go I said, no, I heard he was let go because he was looking at the girls and and trying to rub up against the girls. Is that true? She said, how did you find out that? I said, ma'am, that's not needed to know that. I said, why weren't the parents notified? Oh, well, we want to do it quiet so nobody would. I'm so glad my daughter told me because see, that's why men are necessary. Because what if it was just my wife? My wife would have been like, oh, she on the softball. No. You need a man to take over, take control of the situation and understand what's coming. Men see the movie screen. Women see the rearview mirror. I'm telling you, man, look. Woo.
So listen, Easy Money, I can't let you go. Mr. Boss, can you pull up Easy Money's last comment? Easy Money says this. Now, see, he giving us some mixed messages over here. He says, even if my wife dressed provocative. Okay, so black man, did he not ask you about 10 minutes ago, why would you marry a woman that dressed like that? I wonder what dress like that meant to him at that time.
Well, let me answer this.
Wait a minute. Keep reading. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Even if my wife dressed provocative, I'm not policing her clothes. Men are still going to gawk at her if she was completely covered. You're absolutely correct. They will. However, people are still going to how can I say this?
Well, wait a minute, black man. Before you say anything, I can't let you leave that first sentence. I can't let you leave that first.
Yeah. Even if my wife dressed provocative,
I need you to do something with that because it's a wife.
She shouldn't be.
That's exactly right. Isn't that what he told you 10 minutes ago?
Yeah, she shouldn't be.
Why would you even easy buddy? We got you today. Why would you even marry a woman?
Even if if she look in the mirror, you should have so much positive authority over your wife that when she look in the mirror and see them titties out, she gonna say, "Oh no, my husband ain't finna let me wear this."
Listen, I know it's not your wife, easy buddy. We know it's not your wife. I'm picking at you because you said we're talking in general. But this is the thing: a wife should not be dressed provocative. A wife should be a very modest dressed person. She should not. I mean, she should not be causing men to fall. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? She shouldn't be that way. I'm sorry, what'd you say, Ms. Bob? Right, like Sierra. Got men tongue all out their mouth. That shouldn't be that way. So a wife should not be causing men to fall. So it shouldn't be any provocative dressing for a wife, but she should know that. So if a woman who is married hasn't matured enough to know that she's supposed to carry herself a certain way, that's a problem, y'all. It's a problem. It definitely is. But before we go on, this is a good time to stop and read the super chats.
Super chats.
And then I think there's a comment. Do we need to read that comment? Hold on for a minute. Big Ant, how you doing, Big Ant? Uh-oh.
Hold on now. Before you read that, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we have to, again, what I'm tired of is people saying, "I love you, Lord," but not knowing what he at. Not what doing. People believe God. People believe in God, but they don't believe God. In 1 Timothy 2:9-10 says, "Likewise also that women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel." Apparel means clothing. "With modesty and self-control, not with braided hair, weave, gold, pearls, or costly attire, Gucci. But they should be in proper dress to profess their godliness with good works." So if you look at it, even the Bible knows that women dress provocatively, and they addressed it in 1 Timothy 2. So if you want to go read that, go ahead. Oh, you muted. Oh, hey, somebody already put it down.
Yeah, he put it there. I was going to tell you that. So, Big Ant, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. He said, "Boy, if we, just went away. Boy, if we didn't send bombs and just sent Kayla's voice in a bomb, we would have won Iraq in 30 minutes. Big Ant, I know you was going to do that. You be giving her a hard time. He be giving her a hard time. I'm serious. Marcus, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He said, "Hello, my good people." And at this point, it's just to let women like Kayla learn the hard way.
Absolutely.
I see an extra something there. I just wanted to see what that was. Thank you, Marcus.
Let's say something about his message. You see, imagine just imagine 500,000 people heard what Kayla said the other night. And then they know her by face and by voice. And they passed by her and she was in a dire situation. How many men would stop and how many men would keep walking?
They still gonna stop. It's in you. It's in you.
Oh, okay.
It's in you. I just believe it's in you. Now, some might not physically stop, but they're gonna stop and call the police. You know what I mean? Some might not intervene, but they're gonna do something. I guess you could be off. I guess there are some men that don't operate that way, but I happen to think most men, 90% of the men would do something to intervene to help a woman. I could be wrong. Y'all let me know, but I happen to believe they may not go pull the man off or pull her out the situation, but they're going to either call 911 or get involved. I absolutely believe that.
Now, I will tell you this, security boss. I will send you the video tonight. Okay, I got to go through my video and send it to you. There's a lady, I told you about this already. There's a lady in the gym lifting too much weight. The weight came off the rack and stuck her neck between the machine. The men walked right past and looked at her, didn't help her, didn't lift the weight, didn't touch her, didn't try to pull her out of nothing.
Why was that?
And she was screaming, "Help, help." The men was passing by like she didn't exist.
Okay, why was that?
Because coming to find out, my sister sent me sister sent me a video of the men saying that there's a lot of women that go to that gym and gyms around the United States that complain about men staring at them, touching them, all this. So men like, hell no, I'm not helping you. They passed right security about. They were passing right by. This woman had to wait on her neck. They were passing right by her.
Okay, I see what you're saying. In that situation, I see, because they could me too. She could be like, it could be fake. It could be a setup. I see what you're saying. Well, even with that, I would have thought that the men would have helped, but I guess men are tired of being taken advantage of in some cases, and I agree with that too. But let's play this video one more time here, because we need to understand, because we're gonna drop the link, because I need to hear about this completeness, because we already know what is supposed to happen. See, we already know what the kingdom man, or what the man, I'm gonna call him a man. We don't have to call him a kingdom man. We're talking about the man in marriage is supposed to bring to the table. I've always heard this thing. We always say women want to come to the finish line and get their man. They don't want to build with them. I need to know why women don't want to build with men. And I know Anissa is probably about on her last 5 minutes, but I need for her to tell me why women don't desire to build with men anymore. Because also in that video that we did on Cruise Season on Wednesday night, my whole thing was, I think women and men, I know women and men need each other. And I was saying that Black women and men need each other. And even if this man is not mine, if I see him in some kind of, a real stressful situation, I want to know, how can I help you? What can I do? You're looking like you're under some stress, I see so many men, young men too, with their heads hung down. I don't know why. There's so much despair. It's a lot of despair amongst Black men now that I see. We've talked about this before, Black men, and you've did plenty videos on it as far as mental health or what have you. And of course, I think everything is spiritual. Y'all already know that. So I think the fact that our men are going through so much, it is a spiritual thing, and it's due to a lot of them not having their help meets.
Yep. And
us just operating out of order. I've seen a man today, he was in so much despair. You wanted to be like, hey, what's going on? You want some water? You need anything? Like, no, ma'am. I was just thinking, okay, what can I do with that? But just the fact, why do we not want to ask that question, ladies? Why do we not want to ask the men, what's going on with you? How can I help? So anyway, here's the video. Let's play the video, and then you don't forget. Okay. Women are made for that.
Yeah, but men are also
hold on.
supposed to provide for that woman.
I got you
first. The man is the initiator, and he's supposed to be the one that does everything first. And the woman is the receptor, and she's going to multiply whatever comes from him.
Maybe.
So he needs to do what he needs to do first. And once you got that together, then don't you think that half of that would solve half the problems? Whatever else isn't solved, then we can have a conversation about how we can fix that. But a lot of dudes stop doing bullshit and actually being on top of their shit will fix like half of the problems that we have. Really saying men understand women? No, they don't. Yes. Okay, no, they don't. They will go outside, act crazy, cheat on her, and then she's ranting and raving, and they'll go, I don't know why she's mad. I don't know why she got a bad attitude. I just don't understand why she's always nagging me, and da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, so y'all heard it again. I promise y'all we won't have to listen to it again. But the problem is that I kind of feel an obligation to our Black men. Of course, my husband is my husband, and I am definitely his helpmeet. But I can't see, even though the women are, like some say, have the most degrees, they're making the most money and doing all these things right now, and they're very independent. And we're very much out of order being independent. There's nothing wrong with making money. Y'all don't get me wrong. Money is good, but we shouldn't allow these things to take us out of order. We still need our men to guide us. They're still responsible for us. I don't understand, I don't think, what that does for a man. And Ronan, you were there. So Ronan, I would love for you to come up too, because you were there and you heard the whole thing. So I want you also to let us know, what is it that the men need to bring to the table to complete this, to make this woman submit, I guess, or to you know, be that woman that she needs to be in order to love or to respect. I ain't gonna go to love. I'm gonna just respect this black man. You know, I'm just gonna go to respect. How about that? You know, and so Mr. Boss is gonna drop the link in a minute. But Anissa, we already dropped it for you because I want to hear. But black man, I hope you didn't forget what you were getting ready to say.
No. I was going to tell you that the men in the chat, I guess they've seen that video of that lady choking to death almost in the gym. They said because of all the false allegations of men due to the false reports in the gyms around the country, there's a lot of false reports of women saying man passed by me and rubbed against my butt, or men are staring at me and I feel like they're stalking me. Right. So men and they're consciously in their head, they're like, I don't care about her choking. I'm not getting caught up. And they'll leave her right there.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I can definitely see that. You know what? They should have cameras all the way through those facilities by now. They really should. And I also think that women may actually need to work out in a different part, if that could be possible, because it could get, you know, there are some people that are not, you know, there's some underground stuff going on. Everybody ain't above board, black man. You know that.
Yeah. Why won't nobody help me?
So anyway, guys, I'm looking for some answers because the young ladies, a lot of them in agreement with Miss Kayla, because I have a lot of that in my comment section, and they've said that they want the men to come complete and they need to do all this first. But in the meantime, when the men are doing all these things and they're allowing themselves to be husband, I need to know what it looks like for a woman. I need to know, I mean, when do we start liking each other? If I got to wait till you get finished before I get married to you, can I like you in the meantime? I mean, do I just like you and don't like no others? Because I'm feeling and hearing so much frustration. There was a young girl today in my comment section. She was just going off. Then I ain't gonna talk about it. But anyway, she's pretty much saying the same thing. She's saying the same thing. So I'm just wanting to know what completes these men in order to be husbands, to be good enough, you know.
Hey, Brown Eyes, I don't know who that woman is. I've been wanting to address her for the longest.
Brown Eyes
is killing. She putting in everything that's right tonight. I mean,
Brown Eyes is one of my ladies. Brown Eyes is one of my ladies, black man.
Man, come on through, sweetheart. I'm loving everything that you're doing. Keep up the good work, sweetheart.
Brown Eyes is she's it. The Ruckus. What do you see that comment, black man, from the Ruckus?
It says SB, they don't want to work somewhere else. If they did, there are scores of all female gyms for them to go to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they should. So Anissa is with us. How are you, Anissa?
I'm doing well this evening.
Good. So you've been hearing what we're talking about, and I know you saw the video. And it was not really a debate. I was just saying to the young ladies, you know, on the cruise season, that we still should have some sort of responsibility for care of black men. Not that we need to drop anything, but just some amount of respect for men in general. And the pushback I got, you heard it, it was basically that the men need to come as a complete package. Basically, they need to bring forth everything. And then as women, then we can receive it and then multiply it. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, honestly, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
Clear.
Honestly, I think it may depend on where you are coming from and where you are in your life. I do want to go back to one thing. I was on my Peloton back. I was spinning, so I cannot spin and talk.
Okay. Well, if you can, you're doing good.
So going back to, I think you were saying, what are women missing today and what are men missing today? I think you were talking about that earlier. One of the things I wanted to say about women is that I see is it's an honor to be a wife. And it's an honor to care for your husband and to cater to your husband and serve your husband. And that's something that I have seen personally, that women don't really want to do as much. I was, my mom worked outside of the home, but she was also a fantastic homemaker. So I learned a lot of things from her. And my mother cooked, and she fixed my father's plate, and she brought it to him on a tray, and and all of those things. So I grew up seeing that, and that's something that I do today as well. But a lot of women don't want to do that extra. Like, I'll cook for him, but he can fix his own plate. I'll do this or whatever. And so I don't think women really want to be that nurturing, caring wife. That's one of the things that I see today, that I've noticed. But getting back to your last question, I think it depends on where you are in life. I think that if you are a woman and you're in your 20s and he's in his 20s and you're both starting out together, I think that type of woman is more likely to want to build. I think if you're a little older, if you're in your 30s, if you're in your 40s, like, Ebony Williams is, you probably are less likely to want to build, simply because women have probably attained a certain level and lifestyle on their own at this point. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but they may feel, if I'm coming to the table with this and I'm 30 years old and I'm 35 years old, I kind of expect the guy to come to the table with this. Being that he's the man, he's, the head, he's the leader, they're kind of expecting it. If I've done it, I'm kind of expecting the guy to come to the table with that. I'm thinking that may be a possibility. So that would kind of go in line with what Kayla said. You as the man need to present it, and then we come in and we multiply it. And I think that may be where Kayla was going with that.
So I remember last week that you said that you read the Bible and that you are Christian. Is that correct? I don't want to say you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So, and thank you for being that, but and knowing your word, because you gave us a lot of that last week. My question to you is, where in the Bible does it says a man has to have a certain amount of wealth or worth to be a husband?
I don't think it explicitly says that. I think when you look at maybe most examples that we've seen, the woman generally went from the father's home and she went to be with the man. And as far as I know, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that man already had a tent for her to go to. He already had a tent for her to go to. He already had some cows and some cattle, and he already had something in place when that woman got there. Right. Now, I mean, I'm not saying I know it, up and down, backwards and forwards, but for the most part, that woman always walked. It may not have been great wealth, but he came with the basic necessities in order to care for and cover a wife. And then, they went on from there and started having all the kids and, blah, blah, blah. But he had those initial things in place for that woman. And I think that's what, women are looking for. And I did want to share just a story with me, because, we always talk about Black women. But I learned this from a friend of mine that lives in Atlanta. And she's a white female. And so we were just talking about dating, and she just always had, really really nice guys, really well-to-do guys. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? How are you meeting these guys? And she said, Anissa, she said, this is what I stand on. She said, if a man can't offer me more than I can already do for myself, she said, I don't date him. That was her standard.
Okay. Is she married?
She's not married.
Oh, that's I can tell.
But she has been married before, but she's currently not married.
Oh, so she got divorced.
Well, her husband passed away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Damn.
Let me add something to that, because and I don't think that that's a problem having a standard that way, but it also lends to what you want. If it's going to be your husband, then you need to be that wife.
Right.
And obviously, she must have aligned herself with being some sort of a asset to these men in order for her to attract those men, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But going back to what you were saying about a man having, I'm going to use my own words, a man having the equivalent or given the necessities. And I think that is what Ricky always talks about. A man is supposed to, and he should, because provision is one of those things that a man should have.
Right.
You know, nobody really does want struggle love. When you're building with a person, that doesn't mean you're struggling. It doesn't mean it at all. It means that a woman is that man's helpmeet, and whatever that man is saying he needs from that woman, that is what she is providing. And it doesn't always look like money.
Right.
So this is what's killing me, because, you know, I hear women say you need to get your ish together because maybe you decided as a single man to live in a 1-bedroom condo with a garage, and you got your car that's 10 years old, but you're a single man. You rather put your money into stocks and save it and do different things. But am I supposed to have the $300,000 house ready for you, and then you come in and we enjoy it together, and you didn't bring nothing to the table? You didn't bring nothing to this investment that I have of a house that's $300,000. Is that how women should look at things? Should it be, I mean, is that man, you know, is that him being complete, having that $300,000 house, or is that condo going to be enough? And then he and I build together on in whatever it is that we need to do, whatever his plan is. Should that be, I mean, you know, is that not something that should be looked at as valuable?
Yes, it should. And I'm not saying that I don't think women think automatically he should have the $300,000
Okay.
house. I don't think that at all. I do think that, remember, one of the primary responsibilities of a man is provision.
Right.
So women are going to be looking at that man's ability to provide. So no, you might not have that $300,000 house, but you should have something in place where that woman can see, okay, he has this, he has that, he's on the right track, he's moving in the right direction. Because, you know, I just look at my circle of friends, you know, all of my friends are professional, you know, all of us are, you know, college educated, you know, I have friends that are, you know, that range from 30 years old to 60 years old, you know. So when I look at my friends that are 30s, you know, a lot of them have started their own businesses, you know, whether it's, you know, they might be a waxologist or whatever it may be. They're already at 30 making, you know, 6 figures. They already have their own homes. They already have 2 cars. They're already traveling. Like they're already like doing their thing at 30. It is going to be difficult for you to take that woman that pretty much has done this on her own. You know, no one came through and, you know, helped her build her business. Nobody came through and gave her a down payment for the storefront. She kind of put the muscle and did all of this on her own. It's going to be difficult for you to take that young lady and say, get with this guy and build from you know, from he might not be anywhere near where you are, but that's okay. Take him and build with that, because I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying that might be how a lot of women feel.
Okay, so let's tell us, wait a minute, Black man, because this is good. Thank you, Anissa. What are we looking at to make that type of statement? Where am I getting my analogy from? Why wouldn't he, or why would it not be easy for a man who is upwardly mobile, who's been single, come in as a man with a woman who is established, that has a business that she created on her own? Why would she not? I mean, in other words, he's taking care of himself very well, and he's a man, and he's invested and did many things, you know, and he's a God-fearing man. Why would it be hard for that woman to build with that man, you think?
Again, I think it depends on the woman. Now, there are some women where that would not be a problem. They could be with that man and they'll say, you know, he's a good man, he's a God-fearing man, he treats me well, and I can work with this man and I can build with this man. But you cannot say that there are the other end of women that will say, I am hypergamous and I, you know, want him to be where I am or more. Both women exist. I'm not saying either one is right or wrong, but both women exist in the world.
You know what?
It's going to depend on their perspective totally.
Right. I'm reminded of a documentary I watched a few weeks. No, I'm not gonna say a few weeks. A few months ago, and it was about Diane Carroll, very wealthy Black woman, beautiful woman. She died alone. Right before she died, though, she got everything: the business, the acting, the restaurant. She owned all this stuff, big nice mansion, and there was no U-Haul behind her hearse. She was in that bed by herself. And the last person that said she's going to die was the doctor and the nurse. There was no son. There were no children. There was no husband. There was no man that cared for her. She died, and they put her in a cold, square, refrigerated box until they buried her. But right before she died, a few months earlier, she did a docuseries on her life. And she said, one of the biggest things that I regret is putting my career and my money in place of what it would have been like to have a husband, a nuclear family, and children that I could have built a legacy with. She said, I don't have a husband, nor do I have children to leave anything to. So now she had all these millions of dollars. They didn't put it in a U-Haul and put it behind her hearse and bury her with it. But she died broke. Right? She died broke from love, she died lonely. Can you imagine sitting in a cold bed knowing your heart's about to stop, you're about to pass away, nobody's holding your hand but the doctor? This is what I'm talking about. When you have a really, really good man out there that may not be making the upper echelon of six figures, but he's making a strong 65, and this man respects his mother. He's a man of the community. He's a man that fears God. He's a man that does everything right. He's not a thief. He's not a deceiver. And you will pass this man up because he's missing $30,000 of his check. He's missing $30,000. You would pass him up because he's not matching the $30,000 more that he should be making. This is the problem. Why not? And like I said today, I don't know if you heard it. My grandmother said if she had $4 million a year, and my grandfather was making $60,000 a year, and they met, she would date him and be with him. She said because she would take the $4 million and just open them up. They would open up a bus thing. They would buy a bus depot and have a bus business together and make the money together. And immediately he would have the income, and they would share an income together that would be astronomical. So that's my only thing. I'll land my plane there.
Listen, I understand where you're coming from. I understand your position. That's why I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you where some women are and how they may think. There are some women that will be totally fine with what you just said. There will always be some women that think the opposite. It's just, and just to throw this out there, just to use some names that we probably already know. Tiffany Trump is actually in law school right now. And I think recently got married, maybe a couple of years ago. And no one asked her why she didn't get with a man and build with them and, and all of those things. Lionel Richie's daughter just got married. And no one asked her, well, why didn't you just get the regular guy and, take him in and build with him and whatever. So you're going to always have one extreme to the other. And I think it depends on your belief system. I think it depends on how you were raised and how you view things. I'm not saying either one is, I think people have a right to want whatever it is that they want. I'm just saying you're going to have both women on both ends of the spectrum.
Right. And to talk about a normal couple, I think last week, I don't know if you were here for this or the week before last, I don't remember, but we were talking about the married couple who the guy met his wife when he was working at Foot Locker. Now, she's a neurosurgeon. She does surgery on the brain, making $400,000+ a year or more. Mm-hmm. She married this man.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I was here for that. I think I've read that myself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So my thing is, man, whoa, wait a minute. What? This woman is a neurosurgeon. She went to go get her some. She married this man making $40,000 a year, and she making $500,000 almost. That's tough, right? You know, it's like, damn, that's love. They've been married for what, 13 years now, 14 years?
All depends on the woman.
Yeah, and I agree.
All women are the same.
No, I believe that it's okay for a woman to marry up, but I don't think it should change the position of who the woman is.
Right.
No, it doesn't.
No. Well, I don't know. Well, okay, if that's the case, if it doesn't, then the money wouldn't matter. Because
it was okay for women to marry up.
I do, but I'm saying to you, you said they do, but I'm telling you that it's okay if a woman marries up, but her position as a woman shouldn't change. As meaning, like the examples you gave, fixing his plate, serving him, being submissive to him, you know, none of that should change. Or even if a woman makes more money than he do, if we just building this relationship or this marriage on money, then even if she has more money and she decided not to marry up, if we're staying married up is all about money, her role as a wife should not change. It shouldn't. I'm sorry.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it shouldn't revert. You know, there should be. So if that's the case, then it shouldn't matter. If I'm gonna be a wife,
regardless,
to the man that loves me, that has offered me provision, that has offered me protection, that is a God-fearing man that I prayed for, and I know will do this. And I said the extreme about the 1-bedroom condo. He may not have that. He may really be in a position to buy the $300,000 house. It may have no problems doing so. Let's just say he did. Let's just say this man made $100,000 a year, whatever. And I've still made more money than he. You know, my position, even though I was per se made or in an established business, should not change my role as a wife, because being married is not about money, because money comes and goes.
It does.
It comes and goes. So what I'm saying to you, I'm saying this because when women may say, or that the man, he doesn't have enough, or he's not complete, he needs to get his ish together. Are we basically talking about the amount of money that he works, Anissa? Would you say that, or do you have other things that you want to add to that? And Sherelle is here too. And Ronan, you can speak also.
Again, I understand exactly what you're saying, and know her role should not change. The only point that I'm making is you will have women that will be okay with exactly what you said, that don't have a problem building with the man, and will take that man because he is a good man, he's God-fearing, he treats her well. May not be where he wants to be, but I'm willing to work with this man. There will always be women that feel like that. Conversely, though, you have to accept that there will always be those women on the other end that might require more to get into that relationship. And it's really just a personal choice. I'm not going to say either one is right or wrong. It's a choice. It really is a personal choice.
Can I ask you one? I'm gonna ask you one thing, then everybody else can jump in. You know, you heard about the mass shooting here in Texas, where I am, this past weekend, right? A man just went out there and just opened fire on people, right? Say, for instance, we just use.
Hold on for that, black man, before you do that, because I want to answer Christy. She said, I don't understand what she is explaining. It's hard to accept. Christy, it's not. The part that we're trying to bring a bright light to is a wife is a wife. Money shouldn't matter. It's not a hard concept at all. What she's actually saying is there are some women that are willing to be a wife. There are some willing to follow the order of God to become married, because marriage is what it is. And then there are other women who want the world to be exactly the way they want the world to be, and they want to control the man. And she's making it. Yes.
That is not what I said, SB.
No, it's not what you said.
No, not what you said.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that you are definitely adding some words. Man.
No, listen, I'm not adding the words. I'm not saying that to say you came out your mouth with it, but ultimately, that's what you're saying, because a wife is a wife. It's not depending on what a man is doing.
Right.
It never depends on what the man is doing. When a woman gets married, and she's a wife, the covenant that she makes is to God to obey his rules and his regulations. That's what it is. Now, we have this thing now that marriage is a business. I get it. That's not even what I'm talking about. If we got two people going into a business arrangement, then they get what they get. They'll probably get divorced in 5 years. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the one where God has said we have a wife and we have a husband, both God-fearing individuals, and they are going to obey my order and my laws. That has nothing to do with money. So if a woman, so hold on for a minute. So if a woman is missing out on a man that is good, God-fearing, offers provision, loves the Lord, all those things, he's everything that he is supposed to be, but he makes 100,000 and she makes 200,000, and because of that fact, she can't be with him and build and grow with him, then she had some ulterior motives.
Security boss. Let me say this and I'll be done, I swear. Can you imagine, and I'm just going to use her because everybody knows who the person is. Can you imagine Ebony K, and I'm just saying this, being out in Texas this weekend and a guy start just opening fire out there, and then as soon as she tried to hide behind one of the guys, he said, I don't make enough to protect you. What see what I'm saying? See, when the roles are reversed, it's like, oh no, you should do it anyway. So should you as a wife. It shouldn't matter how much I make, because it ain't gonna matter when you need protection. Like right now, and this, if I made $30,000 a year and you made $200,000 a year, do you care how much I make if somebody go to shooting or somebody grab you around your throat? Do you care when I come up and put my hands around his throat and take him away from you and take him down and get him off of you? It won't matter how much I make then, because you need my protection no matter how much I make.
But let's say this, because I don't want a argument that is not. I don't want a disingenuous argument. What I'm trying to say is, Anissa and Chrissy, I might be saying it wrong. Forgive me. I'm not trying to encourage any woman to marry a bum. So let's don't get it messed up. Not every male is a man and needs to be or is ready to be a husband. Not every woman is ready to be a wife. I am so in agreement with that. I'm not trying to steer anybody wrong. I get it. There are a lot of men that fall short and there are a lot of women that fall short, but I'm speaking to the ones that feel as though that they've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's and are ready for a marriage. I'm talking to those women and men. There are some things that you need to know about it. You need to know about those things that marriage consists of, because you want to get it right. You want to have the correct mindset, because guess what? Heaven forbid another pandemic come through, and whatever business that she or he may have had, if it's not essential, then guess what just happened? We both looking for stimulus checks from the government, trying to make it. Now what? So I'm just trying to keep it all the way real, because anytime a woman or a man is going to want to be married, and I know it's not the most popular thing now, because I realize that money is our God. I realize that now. Money and material things are our God. I realize it. But I'm saying those who think that, you know what, maybe I'm getting to an age I might want to settle down, and they, you know, some things are happening to them. Their thought process is changing a little bit. I'm speaking to them. I'm speaking to that person, because you need to have your mindset together when going into a marriage relationship, and you actually need to know what marriage is about. That's all I'm saying. And I hope that you all can hear me. Now, I'm not saying the woman is being vicious. I'm not saying that she's sitting up there mapping out a plan and none of that. I'm not doing that. I'm just telling you the reality of what is actually going on with her mindset.
Hold on just a second, because I want to address what they said in the chat versus they said.
I can hear.
They said men are always well, me personally is always saying the extremes. I just gave you guys several examples of men in the gym, 40-pound, 100-pound weights falling on women, and men are walking right past them, seeing women on the side of the road with flat tires, and they keep driving. And then now you have women online that say the most unprotected woman in the world is the black woman. So now we get to a point where people are saying, well, I wonder why. If we come and help you and rub you and touch you the wrong way, bump into you, we got a Me Too movement. If we say something to you, we're being vulgar or we being too violent. We are too aggressive. Men are saying, you know what? Women say they got it. They say we're equals. I'm passing by her while she's changing that tire. I'm not going to get that weight off of her when they fall on her at the gym. If I see her in a distressful situation, I'm going to keep going. And if you look around YouTube, social media, you can see these videos every day. I saw right here in Dallas, there was a man beat the dog hell out of a black woman in front of a crowd of dudes, and not one dude stood up for her and broke it up. They sat there and pulled their phones out and recorded it. And that man drugged that woman, beat her damn near to death. And they sat there and watched it. A white man beat that black woman so bad, and they just sat there and watched it. They ain't go protect her. They ain't say, hey, leave her alone, nothing. Go Google it. So it's not extremes. This is happening every day.
So hold on for a minute. Nisa, can you speak for a moment? I want to make sure I can hear you because Mr. Boss is saying you're very, very low.
Okay, can you hear me? Am I clear?
Yeah, you are. Good. Now listen, I want to add something.
I just had a question. Are there any examples when you think of biblical examples or just examples of history of women that married wealthy men? Are there any biblical examples?
You mean like the women that married the kings?
Yeah.
Were there any examples of women that were married to wealthy men in the Bible, whether you're talking about history, has it happened? Does it happen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And that's my only point. There will be some women that will be chosen by men who are wealthy, and that's okay.
That's great. Right. But that's the choosing though.
Right. That's what the man choosing, not you choosing.
It's not a wife if she's saying this is the type of man that I want to marry. What I'm saying is
that's not what we're saying.
That is what she said. She said either way you have to be a wife, and it's not about money. What I'm saying is there is absolutely nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong if a woman says, I want a man that can provide for me. Now, whatever her level of provision is, it might be different from what you think provision is. But what I'm saying is there is nothing wrong if that woman decides that is what she wants.
I have
if
a Bible. Anissa, I have a Bible question. Give me one scripture in the Bible that says God gives a woman provision.
No, black man, we're not going to do that. Let me make sure she's clear. Hold on, black man. Let me make sure she's clear on what I'm saying. I'm telling you, Anissa, the example you gave of your friend, just broad example, the young lady made more money, right? Possibly made more money, right? Or she made more money and she was looking for someone that a hypergamous relationship or somebody that did make more money than her.
Right.
And I'm saying there's absolutely nothing wrong with that if that is what happens and that man chooses her.
Right. That's all I'm saying. Right.
No, I agree with that. That wasn't the issue. The issue was he didn't make as much money as her, but he was ideally a good man. And he did offer provision, protection, and all those things that he was supposed to offer. And he didn't make the most money. So that was the reason why she did not accept his advances or his proposal or what have you. That was the issue. It's the other way around. That's the problem. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I do.
If a woman does not, because remember what we asked for. Remember what we say we want in a man. Just remember, just think about all those prayers we do with I know what my prayer was. We got to think about what we're praying for. I want a God-fearing man, the provision and the protection and all that comes with being God-fearing, of course. And guess what? I'm aligning myself to be a wife. So ain't no bum going to be coming up to me trying to talk to me because that's not where I'm at. It's a given. He knows his role because he's God-fearing. And if he's not where he's supposed to be, he's not going to be ready to take on a family either, or a wife, I should say. But the problem comes in is he's doing everything right. He is all of that. And he looked good. And he's making $75,000 less than me. And I'd be like, nah, I can't really do you. I'm saying at that point right there is when this woman has an ulterior motive as in to control this man because she made what she thought. She made it all about money because everything he had that she prayed for, he had. That was Mr. Boss. But anyway, let's go to somebody. I hope you understood me this time, because I'm not saying you can have your preference. And if that man that you prefer or that is hypergamous comes to you and asks you for your hand in marriage, then that is exactly what you deserve to have. I can 100% agree with that. But if you ask for something and you get it and you look at it and figure like, oh, this ain't right because he ain't making as much money as me, you just made a mistake. So I'm gonna go to Sherelle and then Ronan, I'm gonna let you chime in on this. Go ahead, Miss Sherelle.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Breathe.
I don't know. Y'all ask me a question, I'm gonna answer because I don't know what to
Okay.
say.
So Sherelle, you heard the example that we just gave, and I know you heard what Anissa said about us having our preferences and being hypergamous, right? And I agree with all of that. I do think a woman, if wanting a high up, if that means, maybe a man with a better last name, a man that comes with from a home that has 2 parents, or whatever the situation may be, I do think a woman should try to get the best that she can get. I agree. But if we're tying it just to money, and a man has everything that we prayed for, but I make more money than him, what would you do?
Oh yeah, money shouldn't be the determining factor. Just really if he's financially stable and financially responsible and financially literate, right? So I mean, if he can make 100,000, if I make 250, it doesn't mean his 100,000 is nothing. He can make 50,000. If I make 100,000, doesn't mean that his 50,000 isn't nothing. If he knows if he understands money, how to make it work, and he's living a stable lifestyle with that 50K, then he should be taken seriously, of course.
I
But
agree.
if you're making 150,000 and he's in his 40s and he's only making 25,000, it is a red flag because how did you make it to this adult age without having certain things as an adult? So like if I'm a woman and I go out, and in general, I think we understand. I think everybody in the world understands that in general, men are better than women, right? So if I meet a man and I'm better than him in every aspect, then he can't lead me. So if I've set myself up to, I want this out of life and I've worked hard, okay, because it was an uphill battle. So if I feel like I was strong enough and I was smart enough and I was determined enough to go through all these obstacles, and I find a man that's not as determined as me, not as smart as me, not as strong as me, not as, not able to endure life as much as me, then if he can't lead himself into that position, then how can he lead me? And then now it's going to turn into a situation where I have to lead him. And that's going to always turn out bad because it's not that men don't want to date women that make more money, but they don't want to submit to a woman whether she makes more money or not. Because they still
Sherelle,
feel like I'm the man.
no, you hit on something that's very good, and I appreciate that. But I'm just going to tell you my opinion, and then you can examine it and let me know what you think. I think
Okay.
if a woman attracts a man that has not accomplished anything, and he's an adult, and he is not even at the point of his life where he can take care of himself, I would say there would be something in her that is lacking.
I think that attractive women attract all men. I think a woman could be a millionaire, and to be honest, if a bum catch her at a bus stop, he is gonna shoot his shot.
For real? Well, that's a
I've
confident bum.
I've had a
I
I've
have
I've had
never.
a I've had a man put a piece of cardboard on the ground and tell me, if you need somewhere to sleep tonight.
No, you didn't, Sherelle. You like,
Yes, these homeless men are bold. They
oh, this
will
is a that.
propose to you in front of the gas station. I'm telling you, they see a pretty woman, they gonna let you know. I will drink your bath water, ma'am. I will marry you and love you all the days of your life. Ain't got no teeth in their mouth, but they confident.
Ooh, I'm talking about something. I get what you're saying, but I'm talking about on a little more serious level. I just think, like, for instance, if a young man is living in his home with his mom, right? Could be a good guy, but that young man is not ready to be a husband.
No.
And once he finds out that you are, if you are, then he should walk away. He shouldn't even try to talk to you any further because he should know that he's not on, I'm just going to just use this word, he's not on your level. It doesn't mean that he's a bad guy, but he hasn't accomplished enough in life to lead you, like you just said. Whether it's that he doesn't give reverence to God, whether he doesn't have an example of a dad or a husband, whatever the situation may be, he needs to understand that this woman over here is way above where I'm at right now. I need to chill on that. I'm not ready for her. Somewhat like they said Steve Harvey did with Marjorie. I don't know if it's true or not because I don't know them folks. But they said he met her. He said he met her back in 87, but he was homeless. He said he ain't had nothing for her. She was a lovely lady. I ain't had nothing to give her. So he left her alone. But then later on, he came back and, made that his woman. But anyway, that's what I mean. I understand what you're saying, but
because money is like of course we need money. Money is top reason for divorce. And you know what I'm saying? Money problems can cause a riffraff in a marriage or any situation. Money problems can bring a lot of other problems. But I think that it's just a rites of passage. The same way women are not virgins and they're not being in the home with their fathers, being raised to be wives and preserving themselves into the men in their lives, of vetting the men to bring to them. The same way that tradition is away. At one point, we had a tradition where men were groomed to be in rites of passage, to be men, to be husbands, and that's missing too. So it's not that just the single women are raising these daughters, and these daughters are free as a bird, independent. They're also raising sons who are not ready to lead anybody anywhere. And a lot of times, women equate leadership to finances. That if this man can lead himself into a six-figure income, then obviously he's a great leader because that's what they're going off. But a lot of times they might know how to get to the bag and might not know nothing else. Not know how to be faithful, not know how to be loyal, not know God at all. But they got 150,000. So it could still be that way. I think a lot of times women sometimes build, or we have the option of a starter wife where those women build with men. And then when those men get to a certain stature in life, they start to cheat, or they get a second wife, or they get the woman that they really wanted. And the fear of watching other people go through that, because a lot of times it's not our issues that we go through. It's our auntie, mama, cousin, sister, Diane from up the street who went through something, and their trauma story has been told to us. And just from off whatever happened to that woman, we move our life differently.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. I understand what you're saying, but okay, did you see the video? You see how Kayla was very frustrated, and I am getting that from a lot of women, that they're frustrated in the I'm gonna call it the maturity level of men today, modern men, young men, right? So if that's the case, she said that we basically want men to do everything they need to do first and then bring it to us in a completed package. What does that actually look like? And if that is the case, what does the woman actually look like that is receiving this completed package?
I guess they have this saying, right, where they say, like, when a man is down, he finds the woman that he needs. But when a man is up on his level, he finds the woman that he wants. So a lot of women feel like it's better for a man to choose me when he has unlimited options and he's everywhere he wants to be in life, because that man's going to pick the woman that he truly wants. The man who has nothing and he's in a position to build, who has to build because he know he can't present himself, just like Steve Harvey, his first wife, right? He presented himself to his first wife even as the homeless man because he knew that he couldn't get Marjorie, right? So that woman has to endure your homelessness and your trauma, and you're building your career and you're building your success just so you can put yourself in a position to finally be with that woman that you want. So now women are saying, well, if a
No,
man
that's the
truly
wrong
wants
order.
me,
Wrong order,
right?
Sherelle. He had his first wife first at 24. He
Yeah.
divorced her, then went homeless.
Oh, okay.
And then married another woman who took all his money.
Poor man. That poor man. But his situation,
And now he with a woman that's taking all his money.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't know about that. Look, I don't like to speculate, y'all. I want to talk about what we know.
But the point is that, like, when a man has all these things, he finally gets to pick of the litter and he chooses that woman. Women want to be that woman. They don't want to be the woman you just, oh, I can't get no other woman, so I want you. So that's why they're saying, come to the table with everything already prepared. So I know that when you choosing me, I'm the one you want for real. I'm not the one you feel like you could get while you climbing somewhere and you just trying to scavenge your hunt on getting what you could get. I want to be this prize or whatever. So I agree. A
Well,
lot of modern
I
women
do
is the
have a
prize,
comment.
but I just ain't
listen,
that.
I do too. Sherelle, that was good because guess what? I feel so much better building with my husband because he could never look at me and say, "You're gonna take my shit." He could never do that. Everything that we did, we have done together. We put our money in one pot. We trust each other. See, that's the part about marriage that people are just totally missing. Instead, they're worrying about the divorce. But if you could actually get married and do it for the right reasons, you don't have to worry about these things because everything that I have is his and everything he has is mine. And we built together. Marriage is building in relationships, marriage relationships. We're here to make each other better, not take from each other, not
But you know
hide
the
from
thing
each
is,
other. Huh?
the topic is good with the fairy tale thing, right? Because even when I was listening to the Ebony lady, it seemed like they always say black men. They say they never had leaders in their life, and then they try to tell a man what a leader should be. It's like if you never had one, then how do you even know? So I honestly do think that they make up these men in their heads, right? The man that they want, they fantasize it in their head, and then they want the fantasy that they put in their head, the tall, the dark, the handsome, he makes $1 million a day. He's faithful. He's all of these amazing things. Like even though you haven't even like you've made this fairy tale up in your head, you drew it like animation, and then you want to go into the real world and the reality and think that you can find a person that you made up in your head, and that's just delusional.
Can I make
I
a
agree.
comment?
Okay, Ronan, she's gonna make a comment. Anissa gonna make a comment, and then you go ahead and go next.
I
Go
just
ahead,
want
Anissa.
Okay, it'll be really quick. I just wanted to address the Kayla situation. I'm thinking because I don't know everything about Kayla, but just listening to some of the things that she has said, sounds like she may have had an upper class upbringing. I
Yeah.
think she said both of her parents were professional. She took ballet. She went abroad, in school and or college or something like that. I think because of her exposure, and on these platforms, they love to talk about women, that there was no father in the home, so you haven't seen a father and you don't know how to da 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 da. There are some of us that had our fathers, and there are some of us that had excellent fathers, and our fathers were providers. So I don't know, but it sounds like Kayla may have been brought up in that type of home, and it's like I said, it sounds like it's upper middle class. Sounds like she got to do a lot of things that the average person probably did not get a chance to do. So because of her exposure through no fault of her own, but this just who her parents were and how she was raised, because of her exposure, she is probably expecting a certain thing. It would be difficult for Kayla because of her exposure, how she was raised, what her parents were able to provide for her, to tell Kayla to say, okay, go and get you this guy and build from ground zero. She's probably not going to have that perspective because it's not what she saw. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just probably her perspective. And that's probably how she looks at things, because maybe that's how she was raised and that's what her daddy did.
I agree.
So it's her example of a man and what a man should do and should have.
I agree.
That's why I say you're going to have women on each end of the spectrum. I don't think anything's wrong, with how a woman may see it on one end or versus the other end.
No, I agree with you. I actually said that. That was one of my first statements, that I think she judges everything off the example she saw as her father. I agree. I definitely do. I think that's a good thing. We're not, I don't dispute that at all, but I was just wanting to know what, to her or to other women who think like her, what does that leadership position actually look like? I want to know what it looks like, because we have to learn correctly, even though we might be in a situation, maybe the life that we lived in, It could be very delusional. It could be very dysfunctional. It could be all of that and incorrect, you know, all in the same breath. So, because, you know, I have to, as a man, men have to live with us, right? So we have to have the right amount of information on how to be a woman or a wife. If not, then we are delusional. We're living in a fairy tale because we have to bring a certain amount of femininity, cooperation, all of these things as wives, service, sacrifice, submission. We have to bring this to the table in order to get that man who her father probably was. You know, we have to produce that. But if we're not willing to produce that, then us seeing it is not doing us any good. We first have to know that this is something that needs to happen. And then once that's done, then we're good. But I agree with you on what you were saying. Totally.
But that's why married couples shouldn't be fake in front of their children.
I don't know
should have saw. Let me tell you what I mean by that. That's why your children shouldn't be allowed to see a fairy tale between mom and daddy. They should hear mom and daddy healthy discussion, healthy disagreements. They should see all these different things happening. So when they get older, they're not expecting Superman, because I guarantee you her daddy has done some things that pissed her mama off. And I think that her mama have done some things to piss daddy off, but she never got a chance to see it. And she's looking for perfection. When I guarantee you in that marriage, like all marriages, they've had issues, they've had disagreements, they've had arguments. And if you don't privy your kids to that type of environment, healthy environment to learn how to communicate, have healthy disagreements, then yeah, you're going to grow up and desire something that you won't have.
But listen to this. I don't want to use her because I wasn't using her as the example. She just said and kind of represented what I've heard a lot of women say. And that was the part I wanted to take away. Because I don't want women saying that we're putting words into their mouth. I like people to say what they mean. And I like to use their words. But it doesn't have anything to do so much with Kayla. So I don't really know her background like that. I do know that she did have a father and he might have been a great man. And that could be her example of a husband. So that may very well be correct. Go ahead, Ronan.
Oh, it's good to see you guys. How you doing?
Good.
Well, we have to remember the different definitions between hypergamy and hopergamy. Hypergamy.
Wait a minute. What?
Hypergamy is when you're looking to date up due to certain criteria. We're talking about being able to protect, provide, problem solve, procreate. Hopergamy is when it's only focused on self-serving means and resources. We're talking about if there's a certain dollar amount where you can rent your femininity or your masculinity. So that's what I meant by those two. The second part is to the question, I think, are women's modern men expectation fairy tale? For the most part, yes. There's no sense of reality because the thing is like, you notice we don't speak on the intangibles. Does this man provide emotional security? Does his mind provide solid communication and effective listening skills? Does he provide leadership skills? Because anytime like money or any other resource are threatened, how does he respond in those situations, both good peace times and war? We're talking about procreation, not just in sex, but can he help produce things as far as a healthy family, healthy standards for the family to lead by, or a surrounding of solid people of information they can glean from when he's not there as a mean of protection, not just with him, but as far as family that was supposed to go to. Then we're talking about problem solving, which is most dodged because sometimes individuals marry the problem. So can this person provide some leadership to where they can set this person aside and talk to them effectively without being insulting, condescending, and be solution oriented? These are things that often go amiss because we're not being trained properly in the homes. We're not seeing it by examples. That's why I've always said family is a result of power, wealth, community, information. That's why we have ethnic outposts nowadays instead of actual functioning communities. But y'all let me know what y'all think.
In the hopergamy.
What about the hopergamy?
That's the part I'm stuck on that. I mean, I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm trying to figure out the difference again between the hypergamy and the hopergamy. Ain't there nothing else in between? I can't just be all right.
No, the thing is, like with hypergamy, you're talking about other assets more than just resources. You're talking about as far as
right,
protect, provide, problem solve, procreate. Those things are quite effective hypergamy.
right.
Hypergamy is when you start haggling price about when you give your femininity out.
I got
That's
you.
what you're seeing every day.
Trying to negotiate.
Yeah. I understand. So, Anissa.
Yes.
So you see what we're saying about the idea of relating everything to money.
I totally get what you're saying, and I hope that you're getting what I'm saying. I am not negating the qualities that a man needs to bring that women should also be looking for. I'm not negating any of those qualities, protection and emotional security and all of those things. I'm not negating any of that, saying none of that matters, and it only matters how much the man makes. I'm not saying that at all. All of those things are important. The only thing I'm saying is there will always be groups of women. There will always be groups of women. There are some women out here in the world that they don't even care that joker work. He don't have to work. I don't mind taking care of a man, and I'll take care of him just as long as I have a man. You're going to always have women like that. You're going to always have women, that are like, okay, I can get with this guy. I can work with him. He's a good man. I can build with him, and I'm in it for the long haul. And you will always have women like that. On the other end, though, you will always have women that say, yeah, I want a good man. I want him to be God-fearing. I want him to, understand me and dwell with me according to knowledge or whatever. But you know what? I really want to be able to stay home when I have my children. I really want to be able to do that. And I want a man that also has that mindset and that believes in that, and he's ready to support that. And so she might be looking for a certain type of man. Who am I to say that this woman is right or wrong, or this woman is right or wrong? If that is what you want. All of those things that you're saying are important. Only thing I'm saying is you will always have women on both ends of the spectrum. You can't say that one is wrong and one is right. You can't say that. I personally think that you can say that.
No, I never said anything about being wrong or right, because I think a woman can have her preference in whatever man she wants. What I did say, though, is a woman is not a wife if she's making money the determining factor. That is not a wife. I did say that now, and I'm going to stand on that. But I do want to ask you something. That is not a wife, because that's not what we're made of. We are made to be helpmeets. Our purposes are our husbands and our families. If we don't want that man, we shouldn't marry that man. But we have to check our intentions if we're asking for certain things and those things are met and it's not good enough. That means that you're not willing or ready to be a wife. That's what it means. And I am definitely saying that. But I want to ask you a question, because last week, I think, and don't quote me on the words, but my takeaway from the things you were saying is that often our men are coming up short. And I'm just saying short this as a broad. I want you to tell me, if you can, where are men that you see now coming up short?
When I listen to a lot of these platforms, I hear a lot of men say, women are traditional. Women aren't, they don't do this, they don't do that. They're not like our grandmothers and our mothers, and there are no traditional women. I do not see these men as traditional. Okay. I think if you want a traditional woman, you need to be a traditional man. And I do not see a lot of traditional
what is a traditional man?
Traditional mindset.
What is a traditional man?
Let's talk about it. Tell us what you're looking for. Tell us what you're looking for.
Define what a traditional man is.
Okay, to me, what a traditional man is that believes in being married. The man is the head. The man is the leader of the home. He's the covering for the woman and for the family. But he's also the provider. He is the provider for the family.
Okay, slow down.
Traditional. Okay.
Hold on. I'm getting some every time I speak. Anissa. Okay. Anissa, I want you to slow down because I want to try to dissect everything that you say. So I heard you go a little slower when you got to provision. So that says to me that there may be some second thoughts that you're having on males or men's ability at this present time to provide. Am I good with that or no?
You're correct.
Okay, so let's talk about it. What is happening? Where is the default or where is the deficit? Let's talk about what you're speaking on. What is the woman's expectation and what are you seeing?
Again, I'll say a man with a traditional mindset to me is determined that I am going to be the provider for my wife. It is my responsibility to care for her as my wife. It may not mean that she does not work outside of the home and she's able to be a full-time housewife. She may have to work outside of the home, but a traditional man is going to accept the responsibility of provision for his wife. Sometimes when I listen to these panels, a lot of men that talk about traditional, and they are just as modern in their mindset as it pertains to that. And so I think it's confusing.
Okay, stop right there.
Like, what
Stop
is it
right
that
there.
you really want?
Stop right there because I want Black man to help us out with this. So Black man, she's saying that men are saying they want traditional women because traditional woman in marriage is the order, but they're speaking as though, I'm just going to give an example. They're speaking as though they want the woman to pay 50-50 or to have more money than what a traditional woman would normally have. What do you say to that?
Ronan.
Black man.
Ronan,
Black man.
Put it on for me. Ronan, put it on for me real quick. It's all this.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not gonna let you do it. Ron, take that hat off. I'm gonna tell you why. You can't do it. I'm gonna tell you why. This is a woman. And then she's telling you what she's hearing. And she's telling you what she's experiencing, whether it is 100% true, 80% true, or whatever. Even if it's an influence of something that her girlfriends experienced it. We need to nip it in the bud or agree with it. So this is what we're doing today, because it ain't no need to continue on with this. If it ain't her experience and it's something her girlfriend's telling us, we're going to nip it in the bud today. So she's already told us on these platforms, I'm getting these men talking about traditional, and this is what they're going to do. But I'm feeling real modern out here because of this. So I'm asking my men here, what you say to that?
Okay. Breathe. She said that men are not traditional. They're modern. And she gave her definition of a traditional man. The thing that gets me is that if we're talking traditional from a biblical standpoint, which we are, men should have provision. Check. Men should be leaders and lovers of their families. Check. But the thing that we're leaving out is that maybe I'm reading the wrong Bible, because the Bible says that a virtuous woman is up before everybody. She's asleep after everybody's asleep. She's always up getting her ideas and concerns together. When her husband's at work, she's out looking for other things and other side jobs and gigs to bring money back home to give the husband dominion over that. So when we say traditional men, a traditional man, God gives man, Security Boss said this at the beginning of the show. God gave Adam dominion over everything. Man, dominion over everything. So if that's the case, a traditional man, a true definition of a traditional man will be a man who covers his wife, who multiplies his legacy with his wife, who provides with his wife. Now, when we say provide, that provision does not have a particular number on it, right? Because I remember Security Boss saying this one day. If that man makes a certain amount of money, he can only afford to comfortably put you in a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom apartment, then that's where you need to be with your husband, at that 2-bedroom apartment, until he gets to a point where he can get you that 4-bedroom house. Right? So when it comes to the providing part, I think that we're putting too much gas in that car, because now we're saying that the providing part has a particular number on it. He has to make this, instead of saying, when I get with him, right? Because your job, he's the tree, right? So when you get with him, he's already strong, he's already standing, but you have to add to him. You have to pour into your husband. You have to, because that's what your job is. You were created to help, right? In anything, there's always help. There's a manager, right? There's an assistant manager. There's a CFO. There's a CEO. There's a CFO. There's always somebody there to help the person that's in charge. And I think that right now we want everything microwavable. He has to already be cooked when I get with him. And that's not what God is saying. God is not saying that. God is not saying we're not listening. We're not paying attention. God is not saying this man got to make a certain amount of money. God is saying, because, okay, this is what we messed up at. I'm going to stop talking. This is what we messed up at. At the beginning of the show, when we read what love was, we left out one sentence in front of that verse. It says, love suffers long, but it is kind. And then it says, love does not envy. And then it goes into the verse. So anything that you do, you will have suffering. Even if you're single, you're going to go through times where you down. Even in marriage, you're going to go through times when you down. But now men are being criticized or being said they're not good enough when they're down. A man is not valid. Thank you, Mr. Boss. A man is considered down when he don't make a certain amount of money that you want him to make.
So wait a minute, black man. You said a lot and you said it correctly, but let me say this. Her question was this, and Anissa, to answer your question, he's answered it, but he gave you a lot. He gave you the whole thing. To answer your question, I guess we should have maybe asked a little bit more. When you say that these men they're presenting themselves as modern men, how are you attaching that thought process or that mindset to the money that they're making?
No. Well, let me ask you this, and I'll ask the men this. For men that desire a 50-50 relationship, is that traditional or non-traditional?
Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
And she said men desiring 50-50 relationships.
The men today that desire a 50-50 relationship, because I hear that a lot. I listen to USB, I listen to Crew Season, I listen to King Talk, I listen to a lot of the platforms under Lapeef. So I've listened to the all men panels, and I hear the stuff that they say over there. So that's where I'm getting this from. And Ronan knows the things that they talk about. So I'm asking the men, do you consider a 50-50 relationship to be a traditional relationship? Meaning that I expect my wife to work just as hard as me, as many hours as me outside of the home, because I require her to pay 50% of the bills. Is that traditional?
Now, hold on.
I'm just asking a question.
A few minutes ago,
Anissa, there's something coming in behind you every time you.
Yeah, she got reverb because you got a headphone in, sweetheart?
No.
Yeah. If you don't have no headphone in, the reverb goes back in and comes back through the microphone.
I don't hear it now, but it was weird. Go ahead and answer the question. I'm sorry.
A few minutes ago, I was told by the chat and by everybody that there were some extremes. There's no man, a good man, God-fearing man, that wants his wife to work as hard as him. That is an extreme at its best, but we'll take it at face value.
No, that was extreme, and
no man wants his wife to work that hard ever.
But let's answer the question though, because it is not. That is a non-traditional thing to want. A traditional man is what you and black men both listed. But let me say this, Anissa. One thing about men that we act like it's not there is that innately they were meant to be in authority and in leadership positions. Black men said this. Oftentimes women don't feed into it. Oftentimes they may have not grown up with somebody that gave them an example of what a man or a husband is supposed to be. Sometimes they live life as children that is not productive. So of course, a lot of them are not going to be in the position that they all should be at a given time. So let's establish that there's nothing that a woman can do to change a man. We need to establish that. We need to hold on to that. And we need to know that when a man decides to come into who he is and his own, it's him doing it himself. It's him recognizing, well, this is what I should be doing. To answer your question, the very short, it is not traditional for a man to go 50-50 with his wife, but it's also not traditional for a man to expect his wife to work as hard, like Black Man said, as hard or as long as he does. So those are two extremes, and I don't want to deal in extremes. Let's try to keep it real, like as in things that we might do every day.
Well, 50-50 is very real. 50-50 relationships are very real today.
Okay, so listen. Okay, with that being said, if there is a 50-50 relationship, is this something that you're saying that the men are requesting, or is it something that you're saying that the ladies are requesting?
I'll probably hear more men ask for that than women. Me personally.
Well, I got a message here in the comment section, and I don't know the ages, but I would say, I think John the Baptist said that young men, they don't want traditional. So if it's a man probably under 30, and I may be speaking too much, maybe that is something that he wants.
That's what I'm saying. They're not, there's
Mr. C said that's cap. So I don't know what's the situation, I don't know who it is, but let's note this. It is not traditional. So with that being said, Anissa, is that where we're lacking at? Are you saying that most women want traditional men in relationship? Is that what you're saying?
Me personally, I think that more women would like to have a traditional man with a traditional mindset. But when I am listening to these different platforms that are a representation of, a certain group of men, I hear a lot of, you got to be traditional. But what they are willing to, how they're willing to lead is not traditional. Like I said, I hear the 50-50 relationships. I hear well, by the third date, you need to be doing this. And if I take you out on 3 dates, you need to be giving it up. I hear, all of these things. And I'm like, that is not traditional. So you want these women with these fantastic traditional qualities, but you're not a traditional man. And that could be confusing, for people out here. I'm just saying what I've heard. My hearing is excellent.
Okay, so the Bible says that when a man and a woman get married, they become one, meaning what's mine is hers and what's hers is mine, meaning that 50-50 don't exist in a marriage that's covered under God. You want to know why? Because it's all in one pot. So what I make goes in there, what she make goes in there. Everything comes out of one account anyway. There's no selfishness. There's no account of hers. There's no account of mine. When I make my check, it goes into the account. If she make her check and she working, it goes into the account. So who's counting the money? It shouldn't be counted, because when I married her, when I put that ring on her finger and said, we becoming one. When we coming one, that means we're becoming one. So God is looking at us as one entity, meaning everything that I acquire, everything that she's acquiring comes into together as one. So that means, well, how would I sit there and say, we're going to go 50-50? Hell, we're not going to count the money. We're going to manage it, but I'm not going to sit there and say, well, this month, $433.12 was yours, and $1,032 was mine. No.
I hear what you're saying, but I think you should also realize that there are some men out there that don't necessarily agree with what you just said. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to take a line from Security Boss. Why are we worried about those men?
There you go.
Hold on. I'm not worried about them, but I'm just saying they exist. But these are some of the same men that'll say they want a traditional wife, but they don't want to do, what you just said. So
okay, hold on for a minute. We're gonna go to we want to go to Ronan, and after you're done, we're gonna read these super chats. We're gonna get back into it, because I wanna speak to Money Muse. She says this is I forgot what is this BS. This is all BS. I think that's what she said. No, Money Muse, listen, tell you something. For me, it's not BS, because my people are hurting. It's all BS. That's why this is comedy. I don't know what part about it is comedy, because it's definitely real. She said comedy to the audience. I don't know why. I mean, if it's comedic, it's because you all are causing it. Has nothing to do with the situation at hand. See, what I would love for you all to do is
cam up and change the narrative.
Get serious about the situation. Get serious about the situation. Wait, those men he agree with on Mike's show. I don't know who that is, but what I want y'all to do is get serious about the situation. Trigger Mike. Okay, get serious about the situation and come up with some answers because we're hurting and we're missing each other. But Anissa, going back to what you said, if a man is not speaking in the language that you need him to speak as your husband, you would definitely ignore him. I would agree with that. But go ahead, Ronan.
Well, this confirms two things. Number one, shout out to the confirmation bias crowd. And number one, a lot of people like to marry the ceremony and not the covenant. Because when you say you become one, you guys set the foundation of how you guys are going to work. You take all the things, good, bad, and indifferent from your respective families, and you set your own path. You don't let other people govern how you guys have a marriage. That's how it's supposed to work. And number two, I don't believe in the whole 50-50 thing. Either I'm all in or I'm all out. That's that whole one foot out the door. Well, just in case this falls apart, I got money to sit there and bail me out. Again, that kind of mindset means you're more of a coward, because love requires courage, requires sacrifice, it requires commitment. But you have to teach that to yourself. And there's too many people who are coming with these land of extreme ideas to justify their fears. Because if you're vetting that person and vetting yourself, you should stand confident in who you chose. There should be definite signs like, okay, this person is worth a commitment. But for some people, they want an instant marriage, or they want the ceremony, and then they take a whole vacation when they're done with the altar. So that's my indictment on the people out there. So if you're going to do it, they have to earn that spot. He has to earn that spot as a husband, someone worthy to submit to, lead, understand, and trust yourself, because that is your choice. Same thing as a wife. You have to choose that man who'll be able to protect, provide, problem solve, and procreate with. Now, if you're looking to marry a wallet, go to Vegas and take care of that business. But if you're talking about a marriage, it's requiring you working, putting 100% in, and not letting your mother, your friends, or anybody else who can compromise the marriage to get in the way of that.
Okay, so listen, we're going to do the super chats, but Money Muse, I appreciate that. And what she said was it's authentic because it varies from panel to panel. And I agree with that. But we got to come to the realization what's real.
But what I'm saying, okay.
Me and Black Men said, no, I'm gonna let you go because I know what you're gonna say. Yeah. Me and Black Men talk about this a lot. I'm here right now. We've been on here for 2.5 hours and I have 93 people here. And what I speak to you all about is coming straight from my life and examples and from God. Yep. And it's a real thing. And if you want this, then this is what I'm telling you. This is the confirmation of it. This is what you need to do if you want real relationship. If you want entertainment, I can never stop you guys from going to places and y'all fight all night long about what the man is not doing and what the woman is not doing. You know what? I mean, look, do what you got to do. I get it. But if you want something to change, and this is just me and Black Man, we want something to change, but I need to get a clear idea of what's actually happening, because it's just like you said. To me, it sounds like a joke because if Anissa has not experienced this and she's telling me something about a talking point that Cynthia G got on her channel, me and her it's gonna come out that she just telling me something. But if it's a real thing, then that's gonna come out too. And we can deal with real things, because I too want to know if we going 50-50, woman, if you didn't want to go 50-50, why in the world are you dealing with a man that has 50-50 to offer you? What is wrong with you? I'm checking your value as a woman, as a wife. If that ain't who you are, then you need to set your standards. Like I always say, preserve yourself and wait for that man to find you. I say it all the time, but let's do these super chats. Mr. Scotland said, SB and Black Man, I know you won't fight for it. Uh-oh, it went away. Hold on. Okay. SB and Black Man, I know you won't fight for it, but American Black women are lost in the desert. Sorry. We gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for my women. I am. They give me a hard time, but I'm still gonna make sure they have the right information, because I see the influence. I see that they don't have the whole story. I see that they may not be in Jeremiah. I see that they may not be in Isaiah. I see this. So I'm definitely going to fight for them. If they got the whole story and they still making their decisions and they're not benefiting them, then I have to let them go at that point. Dre, how you doing? God has a promised land for us all. Unfortunately, some get stuck and die in the wilderness because they don't get the wild out of them. Thank you so much, Dre. You are so correct, and it's good to see you. Big Ant, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. Being a provider is one thing, but you walking in with a bad attitude and a phone and charger and your clothes in a trash bag is a definite no-no. Who did that? Thank you, Big Ed. Marcus Evans, thank you so much, Marcus, for your $5 super chat. Look, this may sound harsh, but women with this mindset need to be left behind so our people can rebuild our community back. Thank you, Marcus. TS, thank you for your $10 super chat. He said the issue with that is that most males don't reach their financial peak until 35 and older and over. This is good. Thank you, TS. Anissa, this is something that we need to examine. Let's keep this in mind. That's good. TSS was good. So that means they would have to date older men, which they won't do unless they date rappers or athletes. How about that? Dre, thank you so much again for your $5 super chat. SB, they don't get it. Marriage is a covenant, not a business. Unless there's a sacrifice, there is no covenant and God isn't in it. Make sure you vet. John the Baptist, thank you, John. He says, my new saying, if we want to talk relationships from here on out, talk about relationships without talking about sex and money. Wow. John, I don't know if we can do that. We could leave out the sex, but money? Considering, wow. Marcus, thank you so much for your $2 super chat. The Matrix is real with Anissa. All right, let's see. Dominic, thank you so much for your $5.50 super chat. Said black women don't want nuclear family. They want black being at the table. Ayanla, ridiculous question. Steve Harvey's quote, etc. Brothers, take a hint. You're being insulted. What? Mr. Molnar, how are you doing today? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. He says a man needs to make sure that his wife understands that he is the best man for her and that she can get and that she can get. Oh, I got you. Best for her and what she can get. Thank you. Deep down, many women have a way of figuring this out. It doesn't apply to narcissists. Marcus Evans, thank you so much for your $2 super chat. Talk to him, brother Ronan. And Dre says the word says a husband can be won by the conduct of his wife. 1 Peter. I like that. Dre also says read Proverbs 31. The woman provides also. The man is the head provider, but read Proverbs 31:13-25. It talks about the virtuous woman.
Come on.
John says life has no guarantees. And you're right. Marriage could, we already know 50-50, right? How come we can't be on the 50% that it actually makes it though, right? John says tradition has nothing to do with money. Absolutely not. Unless you're married into it, right? KB from KC5 says, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. My wife works 40 hours. I work 60 to 70 hours weekly. The delusion is real. And now even the WNBA women want to expand their league. Sombrero, please. Where they going, to Mexico? John says, Miss Boss, can I cam up? This is a good conversation. I'm sorry, John. We just had a few people up and, I got you. We'll get there. This conversation ain't over. Marcus, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Come on, man. We know damn well men are traditional and most women are not. Stop the cap. So listen, that was no cap. What was that? That was a cap? Marcus says, love requires courage. That's a bar. So the men, Anissa, are saying, and I think they feel as though most men are traditional. Now, let me just give my opinion. When I hear men speak about what they want in a wife, it is definitely traditional. So, Anissa, you're exactly right. I don't know where you are hearing on platforms about what men are doing? Are you hearing it from women or are you hearing it from men? If you're hearing it from women, I need you to listen slowly or not too intently, because they may not be giving the men full credit for what they actually are doing. If you're listening to it from men on Trigger Mike's channel, then I don't know, because I always hear of men wanting to be traditionally head of their home, kings and in authority. But I also hear this, if we're going to be totally honest, I hear lots of times men saying that I'm not going to give all because she's not a virgin and she's not worth all of that. Now, if that's the attitude that the men is bringing, then I can understand, or I can see what Anissa is saying. And again, for me, that wouldn't make any sense, because I'm deciding to marry her. If she was good enough to marry, then let me say it this way. There should be nothing a woman can do to keep a man from being a man. There should be nothing we can do. You all should just be those people no matter what. All right. So Sherelle, do you have something that you want to add at this moment?
Oh wait.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all saying them pretty much good things. I like what Ronan was saying when he was saying the difference between hypergamous and hopergamous, right? Because a lot of times that is true. Like, some women want the finances because they want their kids to grow up in the best schools or live in good neighborhoods, and some of them want purses and bags and trips. And I think that it's nothing, like, we can't change people. There's going to be good people and bad people. It's never going to be a world where evil just doesn't exist. I don't think that's another fairy tale to believe in. But it's like, I think that men just have to go into it understanding, like, okay, you a woman, you want a person to have a certain amount of money, but ask the woman why. Like, what is her values? Is she valuing having an abundance of what you need and making sure that y'all have a security so that y'all can raise y'all kids in a positive environment that's stable? Or is she just like wanting trips and city girl time and driving the latest car? Is she stuck in materialism? Because I think a lot of Americans, just in general, are stuck in materialism and consumerism and keeping up with the Joneses and always having the best outfit and stuff like that. So I think that's a good thing to pay attention to. When we need money in society, especially now, you raise your kid, but you want to pay $500 for rent, your neighborhood might be getting shot up. So you're probably gonna need it. But if that's her focus, I want my kids to go to the best school, or I want to homeschool, then that is a good reason for her to have that money. But I think still at the same time, instead of focusing on the man having it all the way there, then just take some time to build before you have kids. That's it. But as long as that man is financially stable, financially literate, like, he's not spending all this money on alcohol or drugs or cars or clothes or shoes, he pays his bills on time, he's growing, then you should work with that. It's like, because of those finished product men who's 65 and they millionaires, they come with some stuff. Okay? And when they say they don't want you, because you ain't a virgin and you ain't 18 and you got stretch marks and kids, then you gotta take it like that. This ain't your world, you just live in it. So that's what you gotta focus on.
Security boss, Money Muse said, trying to understand if Ebony was Karen making that comment, would she be crucified? Hey, find a white woman talking like that online and send it to me. I'll wait.
Okay, so listen, let me read this. Doberman says, I respect SB, but I think that she is more concerned with splitting the blame equally than addressing the problem. Laugh out loud. So listen, Doberman, I thank you for that, because every time somebody has something to challenge me or what have you, make me think harder or what have you, I appreciate you so much. But the first thing that I want to remind you of, that I am married. I've been married for 27 years, 28 this year. In my opinion, I got it right. And what I'm doing is I'm just sharing my life and my examples of how I got it right with you all. Now, my job and my mission is here on YouTube is to make sure that the women show up as wives, wives. This means they have a reverence for God and his law and his order. That's my job. I have to work with women. In doing that, I have to listen to what these women are saying. If it's not true, I have to go back and say, look, check yourself, because we're going to be accountable. When women work with me, the one thing that they are going to be is accountable. If you absolutely know what the problem is, Doberman, let me know. Let me know absolutely what the problem is, because the one thing I'm going to say, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to say on this, there is no way that I'm going to allow a woman to blame a man for what she should be. There's no way. I'm not going to do it. I'm not ever going to do it. If this woman is doing something that is out of order, I'm calling her on her own order. I'm not going to say because that man did it, she did it. No, that's not accountability. We're going to straighten it out within ourselves. We're going to figure out, why did we do this? What happened then? And what, we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. So if you know the problem, let me know the problem. And if you're saying the woman is the problem, then if the woman is out of order, then we already working on that. But if you got something else you want to add to the problem, I'm here with you too. But I still want to hear what the women are saying, because I need to hear what's keeping them from being the women or the wives or the ladies that they need to be. Because guess what? Well, I ain't gonna go that deep, but I just want to know. So that's what I'm here. I'm not interested in doing anything but getting women covered. And I say it all the time. The problem is simple. Okay. We have a lot of, Mr. Boss, we have a lot of sisters that want anything but normal. Test tube babies, baby. What is that? Momonisms, rainbow party, etc. Anything but normal. But guess what? Doberman? I don't even want normal, because normal to me is worldly. Being a wife is very exclusive, and not everybody's going to participate in that club. So you have to make a decision if that's what you want to be a part of. And that woman that is exclusive, she's not living by normal. Normal is the world. That's doing what everybody else is doing. And being a wife ain't that. It's not. So that's what I'm trying to do. But again, I appreciate you helping me. But if there's a woman out there that enjoys being a sexually liberated woman, dropping it like it's hot, guac-guacking, she is not going to ever listen to me, and I don't even want to talk to her.
Yeah.
Because we ain't got a lot in common.
They don't want to talk about that security ball. They don't want to talk about their sexual liberation.
Hey, look, I'm just telling you, that's not what we're for. But I appreciate Doberman, and we're looking for some solutions. I mean, just continuously pointing out what's going on, like what you just said, being normal. What is normal? My God, don't nobody want normal. They shouldn't. They shouldn't. We should. I want to be a part of. I want to be a standout. I want to be exclusive. I want women to have value. Right now, our women don't have value.
They're too close to hoes. And I don't mean it in a bad way. What I'm saying is, when you see women now that are wives now or wanting to be wives, but they're not for the streets, they're dressing like the women that are for the streets. So now you can't tell them apart. They all look the same.
Hey, shout out to Ella. He said that.
John the Baptist. I'm gonna read the super chat. But listen, women don't have value right now, Doberman. We have, in my opinion, the women that we have now most of them have very little to offer a man as a wife. And it's only because they have lost their way. I'm trying to get them to understand that their virtue is in their vagina. And we need to build this back up. We need to preserve ourselves, get our mind straight, and align ourselves with what God has told us we needed to be. So now, that's a good woman. That's a good, respectfully, security ballers. We know what normal is for a functional community. We play semantic games to get out of identifying plainly observable issues. The only way we can get this community back together is to be married. The only way to be married is to build husbands and wives. That's the only way. The nuclear family is the answer. That's it. If you ain't trying to pour into that and you ain't trying to be that, you're not going to have a community. You're not going to have a community. We're going to stay lost. Okay.
So Cuba, can I ask Anissa a question real quick?
Sure. I'm done. I just wanted to address
what are your thoughts? And then Ronan, you can go out there. What are your thoughts, Anissa, on just take the men out of it? What are your thoughts on women like Ayanla. When they ask her a question, a lady asked her a question on the interview. She said, "What is the state of the black woman right now?" And Ayanla said, "Baby, to be honest with you, I know this is not going to be popular, beloved." She said, "The black woman right now is the most undesired woman on the planet." She said, "Don't nobody want us because we out of line." And then you go over to Time Magazine, and they did an article that said the very same thing, that the black women are undesirable and white, Mexican, Asian men don't want to date them. They just don't. So because, and it didn't give reasons to go into all this deep stuff. However, how do you feel about women like Ayanla and older women even online? You know, you have she just got married. What's her name? Security boss. We just talked about her wedding last week. She's a content creator. Always talking about
Crimson Cure.
Yeah, Crimson Cure and Ayanla and all these different women stepping up and saying, "This is it. We're undesirable." What do you think about the women saying it? Take the men out of it. What are your thoughts on the women who are saying it?
I think they have some validity. I think that there's a huge issue with Black women, especially the young ones growing up. So I think they are spot on with their assessment of that. But I also know that there are a lot of good women out here. I don't have any. My friends and my circle of women that I associate with and that I consider my friends and my circle of influence don't fit any of those stereotypes that Iyanla and other people talk about. So that's not my tribe. But I definitely know that it does exist. So there are plenty of women out here that don't fit any of those descriptions. And so I think if men are having a hard time finding those women, that's on them.
So let me answer Trey. Trey said, "They're on it." Trey asked a question. He said, "Why would I pick a group of people?" You see, Trey. Why would I pick from a group that is at the bottom? Why wouldn't I choose an Asian or Indian woman or women? So Trey, the only thing I could tell you would be the reason is because you felt some sort of obligation to your community. If you know, that's beyond the reason, but you can have your preference. There are some men that want Black women. They don't want no foolish woman, of course, but they want Black women and they feel some sort of obligation to the Black woman, a good Black woman. But other than that, you would have to have your preference on the woman that you chose. Doberman says, "SB, I went to the office after 2 years hiatus." Hold on for a minute.
After a 2-year hiatus from the pandemic, 5 brothers cuffed up Saudi, Syri, Lankan, and Chinese, etc. These cultures are anti-Black, but these 150,000-year brothers had better luck there.
Doberman, you have your preference. I agree. Like I just told, and I just came right on time, right? Like I just told Trey, you have your preference. I can't do anything about that. That is, I mean, you have your right to do that. And I too definitely see how strong and unattractive our women are being right now. You know, I don't have all the answers, but what I'm saying is I am definitely willing to speak to women about where we are. So Money Muse says those women ain't with 50-50 though. Hypocrisy.
She better go. She got to go.
We got an issue right here. This is a problem because we got one group of people saying that 50-50 is a real thing and that's what men want. And then we got another group of people that's saying that those women ain't about 50-50. So what is it that we're saying? What's the truth?
Security Boss, they have a channel called Filipina P, and it's about Filipino women who are studying Black men, want to be with them, and they don't get, listen, they say they over there making videos talking about, we will take you, we will be with you, we'll marry you, we'll have your children, and we won't be over there buying Gucci. We'll take $2 and buy a t-shirt and some pants. We don't need to spend all your money. We want you to save your money. We want to give you a legacy. So you better go look at some of these women that have these Filipino women, these Asian women that got these channels that are studying Black men and want to be with them and have their children. You know what you better go do.
So I want to go back to Anissa. Anissa, so listen, this is what I think that needs to happen because I want to ask you another question. When you said that, okay, we know about the traditional man wanting a traditional woman, or maybe or may not. Excuse me. If you excuse me, have you ever asked that question on those panels when you've been there? You know, y'all sound very traditional, but you're also responding 50-50. Have you asked that question at those other panels?
I have not been on those other panels to dial in. Sometimes when Trigger Mike is on, I'm at work and I can't dial in at the moment to comment on some of the things that they talk about.
Okay.
But I definitely listen, and I listen across the board to pretty much everything on Lapeef. And I hear it all. I hear both sides of it. But I did want to respond to Black Man Unfiltered, and this is why we have to you have to be careful on these platforms, because he just made a statement about the Filipinos or whatever. But I work with a lot of them. I work with them, and I know them personally, and I know, and none of them feel the way that you feel. They are definite. I'm saying my personal experience. You just gave yours, and I am giving mine. Okay.
Are they married?
I'm in the yes, I am in the medical field. Some are married and some are not married. I am in the medical field. I work with them. And there are a lot of them that will tell you they are looking for a certain type of man, and he has to make more than them, and this is what they want. So do not get, that might be what you have read, but I know them as well. And so that was my whole point from the beginning. There are you got some women that feel one way, and you have some women, and they were all Filipinos, but all of them don't have that mindset, what you just stated.
Anissa, can I ask you a question? Have you ever been out of the country?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever been to Germany?
My partner, I'm in the medical field. My partner that I work with is Indian. My technicians that I work with are Filipinos. I know a lot of women from different cultures and different races.
Right. Have you ever been to Germany?
So you cannot
I'm just going to name one. Have you ever been to Germany?
I have not been. Germany, you said?
Yes. I'm just going to just use that one. Have you ever been?
No, I haven't been to Germany.
Let me tell you something about Germany, and Ronan can tell you as well. When you get out, if you're a Black man and you get off a plane in Germany, guess what those German women looking at? Guess what they're saying? You are a delicacy to those women.
I have heard that. Mm-hmm.
Hell, they'll follow you around all day.
I've heard that.
So let's when we make comments, let's just note that we're not talking about all. But
I was going to say, when you make comments, you can't say all Filipino women think this way, because they all certainly do not. So
some of them been westernized.
You got one of them. You have some on one hand, and you have some on the other, and that's with all women. That's with all women.
Anissa, I thought he mentioned. Wait a minute, I thought Filipino P was an actual website.
It's a YouTube, and I didn't say all Filipino women. I said the Filipino P. It's a channel on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a channel. That's what I thought too. Yeah. It's an actual channel.
I was just giving him the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So anyway, what else have you found to be quite contrary to the men being leaders outside of the 50-50 that we may have heard?
Well, for me, being that I am a Christian, I hear a lot of men talk about traditional and submissive and all of those things. But then a lot of men will clearly say that I'm not a Christian. I don't know the Bible that well, and I don't really get into all of that. And so it's kind of like, you want a traditional wife who's submissive and all of that, which is a godly, term, submission, but you clearly state, I'm not really a Christian, and I don't really get into all that, and I don't really do all of that, so it's kind of like, what?
No, I get that too.
You see the confusion, so it's like, okay, well, you're not even a Christian man, but you're sitting up here and you want all of these virtues, and the wife, and she has to be this, that, and the other. So, it's just interesting when you just hear some of the things that are promoted on these platforms.
Okay, so listen, guys, we've been here for a minute, but I got one more little half of a video I want to share with you. But again, Anissa, we're not supposed to be moved by other individuals. If you are a godly woman, I don't want to get into the religion of.
Yeah, be clear. It does not move me. I'm not affected by it. I'm just sharing with you some of the rhetoric that's out here that could be confusing, to other women. Is what I'm saying. I'm not moved by it at all. I'm followed on where I stand.
You say that, but why? I don't hear that you advocate for men, though. Why wouldn't you?
I do advocate for men. I'm just speaking from a woman's perspective.
You do advocate for men?
Everything that you've asked me has been pertaining to women. You asked me how do women feel about this, and how do women I'm answering the questions according to how you presented them for me. We're talking about women mostly. You said you wanted to know how a lot of women are feeling, right? I think that was the beginning. So I'm answering it from that perspective. That's what
but I haven't been getting the warm and fuzzy for the men though, Anissa. I really haven't.
I've been answering the questions as you have presented it based on
I'm talking about
you know what the women say.
But even with last week, I haven't gotten the warm and the fuzzies from the men being leaders. Okay, the reason what I'm looking for, I'm not telling you to pretend that men don't have issues. I'm not saying that. We all know that there are men out there with issues. But if we know that if we uplift our men and we make sure that we pour into the fact that they are leaders or are head of households, or they have the dominion and they start this foundation. They really do. If we do that, then we should be having a more obvious conversation about how the women are out of line. And now we kind of going back and forth instead of saying, yeah, you're right. We should be a little bit more submissive women.
No. My response to that was, I said, definitely there are women who are like Iyanla and those. I said, definitely there are women that are not in line. Definitely there are women that are not. However, my circle of friends, my circle of influence are not out of line. They're not like the women that Iyanla are talking about. So my only question was, if you're that guy and you really have it together, why are you worried about the women that are like Iyanla is saying? Why can't you attract the woman that you say that they want? There is no way I'm going to sit up and say every Black woman is totally out of line and no Black woman is ready to be a wife. That is absolutely false.
Anissa,
Are there a lot? Absolutely. But I know a lot that are ready to be wives.
Can I ask you a question?
That they don't exist.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Since we were talking about men advocating for men.
Ronan, you're next.
What is the most give me the race of the most desired man on the planet?
You would probably say the Black man, but I don't know the statistics on that. I don't know.
Oh, that is fact.
Where?
That is fact.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
If you got a computer in front of you, just do the research. So I think when men wake up and understand how powerful they are, not just in the United States, but globally, and they'll start getting the women they want. But men are not waking up. They think we need to stay in the community. We need to stay here and making everything about. When they start understanding that they're the most desired men on the planet, they'll start getting married at high rates for sure.
No, we asked the question. No, advocating for men does not mean that women should be belittled in any way. But I'm gonna answer those questions real quick. But Cheeky, let me know is that question, you want me to answer that question, or is that question for Anissa? But go ahead, Ronan.
I'm beginning to really understand it now. It's like a reason why.
Ronan, your microphone is going crazy.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, the Matrix. Hey, I think Anissa sent a Matrix over there to stop the microphone.
Anissa, can you mute your mic? Wait a minute, Ronan. Anissa, mute your mic really quick. Maybe it's her. Okay, go ahead, Ronan.
How about now?
No, it's you.
Okay, let me reboot it then. Go ahead.
Okay. So there was a couple of questions there. No, advocacy for men doesn't mean that women are the problem per se, but we don't overlook the issue that we have with our women. That's the issue. We never should overlook the problem that we have as women. Because remember, I don't combine the two. As a woman that has a relationship with the Creator, it's my responsibility to be the woman, the lady, the wife. That's my responsibility. And it's not, it doesn't matter what the man is doing. When I say advocate for men, Cheeky, was that question for me? The majority of women are not, laugh out loud, at least not most Western women to these standards. But anyway, advocacy for men is, for me, I'm going to say it real easy. Like, I want men to win. I want the men to want to win. And they win to me by giving them, we support the men. We advocate for the men to win. No tearing down goes on. We know that men make mistakes. We're not saying that, but I advocate by making sure men have the most important, have all the information. Now they still got to be accountable. I'm not the panderer, but they have to be accountable. But I still want men to win. So in all situations, I do believe that we can't do anything without having our men in place. And that place is in a leadership, head of household or head position. That's my advocation. Anissa, what would you say what would be your definition for advocating for men? Oh, she can't hear me. She probably, okay, you go ahead.
Okay. No, I definitely agree with you, and I stated that from the beginning. I think that where a lot of women were falling short in understanding that it's an honor to be a wife. I said that at the beginning, that it's an honor to be a wife, and it's an honor to care for your husband and to serve your husband and to nurture your. I said that at the very beginning.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So I understand where women fall short, but I do also understand that the men who are supposed to be the heads and supposed to be the leaders are also falling short in some significant areas. I want us all to win. You know, I want men to win, and I'm a woman, so I'm going to say I want women to win. I want everybody to win. I want people to be joined with I want the right people to find the right people and join together and have fantastic lives and build fantastic families. But I will never get on a platform and say it's all the woman's fault. You know, I hear a constant, thing about, oh, the women and, all these babies they have from 5 different men and I don't know any women like that.
Well, I know
that those women exist, but me personally, none of my friends fit that category.
But are you willing to say to women, it ain't all about money, y'all?
Oh, it's not all about that.
But no, I said, are you willing to tell the women that? Are you willing to say to women, it ain't all about money, y'all? Actually, would you actually state the case and build your case on the fact that it is not about money? And are you willing to tell women, preserve yourself, girl? Wait for your husband.
Absolutely. That's why I say,
girl, you got to be on my team then.
Absolutely. And, and what bothers me is what I've heard on a lot of these platforms, and they want to push this narrative that, all women are loose and all women done had a bunch of babies before they got married, and they want the guy to come in and rescue them, and they don't bring anything to the table, and they can't do this and that. If those are the type of women that you encounter all of the time, that says a lot about you more so, and who you are surrounded with. Because I'm not saying, I know that those women exist, but I know that there are plenty of women that do not fit that narrative. And why can't Black men find those Black women? None of my friends, all of us went to, college. We're all in the medical field. None of my friends had children out of wedlock. Not a one of us. So, why can't you find these women? These Black women exist, and I am not going to ever support the narrative that they don't.
Anissa, real quick, Anissa, before we move on to Ronan, I know people was gonna call my hand, so let me go ahead and lay it on the table and say it's game over. If you want to go to the CDC, and then you could put CDC / National Institute of Health, you will go there and they have the statistics there. And it says that Black men are 6 times likely to marry someone of a different race globally than any other race. Right after that, right? Hold on, right? Divorce rate? What do you mean?
What's the divorce rate?
They don't have the divorce rate here. I told you we're moving the goalposts.
No,
I said that Black men are the most desired. They say we're 6 times likely to marry any other race of women, including, I'm reading it to you right now, Asian, Caucasian women. Let's see here, Caribbean women. This is all across the world. Chinese women.
That just mean that y'all the least race loyal. Other men marry their women first. They hold their women. That's only Black men thing that they don't hold their women to the
that was not the point I was making.
Indian men, Muslim men, Asian men, they love their women first. They're going to uplift their community. They're going to keep their bloodlines and their family and their traditions and their culture intact. There's nobody trying to switch their cultures and breed out
My my
their degeneracy instead of fixing it. Besides black men,
my,
they would
my
rather go and
Louisiana, my
deal
Louisiana,
with. I'm just
my,
saying. Let me finish.
go ahead.
The black men will go and line up to go get those women that
Mhm.
another group of men. White women ain't submissive. Asian women ain't better. All these other women ain't better because of you. You didn't create those women and the values and all of that. Their fathers did that. The men in their family, the men in their bloodline, their men in those men in their countries created them. And you're just going to reap the benefits of somebody else, some other man's labor. That's what black men are doing when they do that. You're
Well,
going to
okay,
reap the benefits of somebody else's labor.
but let
You
me
didn't
ask
do
you.
that. You want to be so desired. Do what those men have done with their women with yours. Fix your women.
Hold on. You're absolutely correct. And watch this.
Uplift your women.
Look,
Put your
hold
women in
on.
position.
I want you to go on your social media tonight while you're lying around or doing whatever, you're resting your feet, whatever. And I want you to go down the timeline. I want you to tell me how many Asian women you find, Chinese, Japanese women that are in the supermarket or in the middle of the street fighting each other, stabbing each other, or saying, or in a man face time, you go find me them videos of those women degrading their men in public, degrading their men online, degrading their men. They're not, because they were raised to be submissive to their men and to be quiet. Now, if you go down the timeline, you see black women. You big nigga, you ain't shit. I cut you. You ain't shit. Come get me.
Black
Yeah,
men,
black man,
black men, this is
you're
the
going
thing.
extreme.
That's so
You're going
disingenuous, and this
extreme.
is the thing.
I can go down
When you
my
have
phone
to
right
go
now.
disingenuous, is so because that's your algorithm. Your algorithm is black women.
No,
Just
my
like
algorithm ain't no black.
your everyday
No.
life is black people. There is not that many black people in America on your everyday basis. You wake up and you're dealing with every other race of people except your own. The majority of y'all are dealing with the people closest to y'all, and there are black people. You don't have a bunch of Asian people down your algorithm because that's not your algorithm. And
But
at the end of the day,
have you
let's
seen a video
okay,
of
but
an
let's just
Asian
be
woman
real.
cussing her
Let's just be
husband out
real.
in a
But let's
restaurant?
just be
That's
real.
all I'm asking.
I'm not looking for if they was cursing them. I don't understand none of their languages. So how would I know?
Because
Well, listen, I want to say this. I have seen Asian
It
couples.
doesn't happen. That's
Wait a minute, though.
crazy.
Wait a minute.
Why the
Asian couples.
femicide rates so high in these other countries where the women are so submissive? What are
But
you
wait a
talking about?
minute,
Go look up the femicide rate. We're not going crazy with femicide. The countries that the women are
Sherelle,
running
hold
to
on for a
y'all
minute.
are
Let's
going
add
crazy with
something.
femicide.
Let's add something to this. I have seen very aggressive Asian couples before, but I'm not talking about that. And also black man. We're not going to be extreme because we already know the extremes, the women or men that are extreme. We're not dealing with them. We're dealing with the people who could very well be married and who could very well be husband and wife. We're dealing with those people. Those girls that are men that are in the Walmart or women in Walmart cussing and fighting in the middle of the street. I'm not talking to them. We're not talking to them. They've totally missed it.
But can I ask you a
Let's not
question?
waste our time on them. Yes, sir.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can we have the honest conversation that those women in those different cultures are raised to be wives? They're raised to serve their men and to be can we at least admit that?
We can definitely admit that, but let's add something to it. We can admit that that is the truth, but I'm finding nowadays in 2023, if they're not still under the covering of their fathers, they are becoming very westernized, and they having the pink hair, and they doing a whole lot of other stuff too. Now, I'm not saying that they've gone to an extreme because I don't know anything personally about these women, but they have been raised to be wives. And going back to something else you said, and I think y'all agreed on this, not only in Germany, but a lot of times when these sailors come in to dock the Navy, they have the daddies out there throwing rocks at the men with the number wrapped around, trying to get them to come to the house at night because they're trying to get the whole family back over to the United States. So all that stuff is real, and that is what people do, but it's not the majority of what's actually going on. But to go over to the point, though, black men are very valuable in other countries. This is true too. And we're trying to make sure that our women here in this United States understand that they're very valuable. And that's the part that we're missing. They are our counterparts, and we can't be dismissive of them. I know we have been, but we have to stop being dismissive to them because they are our covering, and we're going to need them. If we don't see that we need them yet, they will be very valuable to us in time to come. And yes, again, if they don't know, I mean, you know what? This is kind of silly because we've all been through something. Some of us more than others. I don't know why what I've gone through, would be any better or less than what this man has gone through. I do know men go through things. So I wonder why we're going to go back to the very first thing we said, why we can't have empathy and some compassion for the people that are in our community. Again, I'm not telling you to marry everybody. I'm not even telling you to be in relationship with everybody, but the common respect that we should have is not there. So we have to start somewhere. And I guess what I'm trying to say is where I want to start with is let's get rid of the lies. Let's try to get on one. Now, everybody's not going to be alike. Anissa has said this. There's going to be some women that want this, and that's been from the beginning of time. But we used to respect each other. Let's try to get back to the respect of each other so we can at least live together and understand what our role is in each other's lives. Because we keep trying to pretend that we're not connected. I do know that there are different status of people, different classes of people. This is true, but we still are connected. And then Chica says, because it can get you killed, deleted, or even worse, stuck. What? I don't know what I said that could get you deleted, but you don't need no special favors or anything special to get deleted. You don't need anything. You could be just driving down the road, Cheeky, and get deleted. It happened to a young lady last night. And the man came outside and told the police he had got tired of cars driving on his street. So you don't need no special situation to get deleted these days. So, but where are we? Yeah, we done went around the world and came back, but we're trying to have an honest conversation. And I do now understand that maybe it's just different. Maybe we have millennials talking and Gen Z's talking versus Gen X's talking or what have you. I don't know where the difference is coming from, but we all have heard of 50-50 relationships, y'all. We've heard of that. We've heard of it. That is not traditional. We know that. The men may have their reasoning for wanting a 50-50 relationship. I say, if you don't want a relationship, why be in one? And I think that brings us to why we are always, relationships are not working. That's why marriage is not working, because we're going in blind. We're going in with the wrong intentions, and it is not going to work. So let me read these super chats, and we're going to pick up the conversation because we got to see this last little bit of video so we can get out of here. But let me read these super chats really quick. Anissa, Dre, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Anissa, that number in marriage, that's a fairy tale. I lead, but she helps. Definitely. She's a help meet. Every narrative except God is acceptable. No one wants to sacrifice covenant. No one. Oh, I got to ask Anissa about that, but not right now. John says, why take sex out the conversation, but not money? John, I take sex out the conversation because I want women to preserve themselves. But money now is the new God. So that's why we always end up talking about money. I hope that answered your question. Marcus, thank you so much for your $2 chat. Some women have no honor for themselves as well. Yeah, we're trying to work on the value of women right now. We want them to make sure that they understand they are very valuable. Marcus, thank you for your $5 super chat. I'm at that Unfiltered Black man brought that up. Since Anissa said why her BS for the men. How do y'all feel about women being undesired? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It hurts me for another Black man to say an Asian woman is more desirable than we are. I hate that. I mean, you have your preference, of course. You do what you want to do. I get it. But I don't like to hear that. I want our women to be definitely more desirable. Marcus again says, and why most women don't want to talk about that ugly truth that Unfiltered Black man brought up. Black man, you got to tell me about the ugly truth again. I want to make sure we're thinking about the same thing. But hold on. John the Baptist says, $5 super chat. Thank you. I heard on the panel, these men and women talk. I heard on the panel. Oh, John, did you hear the 50-50 also? Okay. Marcus, again, thank you. You have values and not be religious. You have value. Definitely. You can be a very moral person. Absolutely. You don't need religion to be moral. We don't want to tie that into that. You don't need to have religion to be moral. Religion, y'all, is a form of worship. Understand that. That has nothing to do per se with your morality, your I will do and I won't do. So understand that. Don't believe Anissa advocates for men. John the Baptist says, Christian feminist. Thank you, John, for your $5 super chat. Marcus says, very well, SB. Good night and good people. Thank you, Marcus. Have a good night, and we will see you soon, hopefully on Wednesday night. Here we go. We're going to play this video. Wait a minute. Did somebody want to answer? Black man, did you have an answer to something? I can't hear you.
He said something about the ugly truth. I was just saying that we've gotten to a place, security boss, and it's not good because I like black love too. Hell, my wife black, my daughters are black, hell shit. But at the same time, men are just getting to the point where men are going where they're appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're at right now. Do you want to go? Do you want to go and deal with, you know, this over here growling at you, or do you want to go and to a place where, hey baby, good morning, would you like some breakfast? I mean, this is what men are doing right now. So
I can understand that. I do. I understand it crystal clear. But listen, let's play this video. We're gonna make a little bit comment to it, and then we're gonna get out of here. But this is just, we're just gonna play the whole thing. Let's go ahead. Not the whole thing, but the second part.
If you really want a woman to understand you as a man, switch the topic to men and what men need. They talk about women 90% of the time.
They're telling you because they're talking about women's behavior contrary to what.
Talk about a man's heart. If you want to, there has to be at some point, these men have to pivot from these conversations. You cannot keep lecturing women at some point. And that's what I'm saying. When we talk about it, Steve Harvey can't tell them shit. They don't want to hear him. I'm saying at some point, some man got to develop something where he say, okay, fellas, let's talk. And let's really talk about what we need. And let's present this to women in a certain way about men. Let's take them out of the equation. Because obviously, whatever we're saying, the way we coming at them, they're not getting it. And nobody is saying, how can we reframe the message? Like, we don't need you to tell us about us.
All right.
Yes, you do, because you're not holding each other accountable.
Exactly. Well, let me say this. Men are definitely, we adapt to men. We should know that in relationships, we adapt to men. I don't think it takes, anybody should be able to tell you exactly what their perception is of what you're doing. And it should be okay, as long as it's done in respect. But I've been noticing lately that you tell somebody the truth, it's being seen as disrespect. So you're gonna have a difficult time doing that. The other thing is, she mentioned that she wants to see the men's heart. She wants to see who you all are. Now, I don't know what she's missing. I understand what you all are saying, but she's saying she wants to see your heart. Men need to pivot, get off of them, and get on to what makes you guys good men. All right. So I guess I'm assuming that's, the takeaway, but I want to go to Ronan first because Ronan was actually there and he can, help out with that.
Which part?
Go ahead, Ronan. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I mean, just that statement, what was your takeaway from that statement?
Well, the thing is that this individual presents a pattern of not being always being above reproach, insufferable, always over talking, overbearing. Then why would that man expose his heart to a hyena? That doesn't make any logical sense.
I need you to say that again, but I want you to give me a conclusion.
Well, the conclusion is like if you have someone who's actually difficult, who makes it combative to have a healthy conversation, you're not going to get any resolution. So a man with some sense is going to ask, why am I going to waste my time trying to address the problem? Which, is part of that thing. We talk about problem solving. If that individual remains a problem. So now he has to find a way outside that problem.
Okay. So I got a question here, and you might know that Mr. Jimmy says KS talked to men first, then he went to women. Why do you think KS stopped speaking to men? If this is true, is this true?
It wasn't profitable. Talk to guys. Yeah,
profitable. Guys. Oh, I got you. Okay.
You have guys who are still stuck in the mud, talking about what women, this, that, and the Pookie Ray Ray narrative. And the thing is, like, when it comes to brothers, you got to start courting yourself. You gotta approach things with a discerning ear and eyes. You know, if she looks the part but isn't the part, you need to part company. Thing is, like, you got guys who can tell you what's going on and basically address the issues, but because some are stuck arguing with women nonsensically, then that's where they'd rather be. They look for confirmation bias. But if you have women out here who, if you've seen it many times over, you've been married almost 27 years, you try to tell them where to go, they're not trying to hear it. And the ones who aspire to be a wife, they're called pick-me's and other mammies and other kind of demeaning things. So that's why I tell people you gotta learn how to read the room. Like, I don't go to certain rooms for confirmation bias. I see it what it is, and if that's all they're all gonna talk about, no different in the club. I come back there 5 years from now, same characters, just different faces. So, but it really is a byproduct of hypocritical doctrine, not Christian doctrine. Hypocritical. They read cliff notes when it comes to scripture, things that sound good, but you can tell when you talk to them, they don't read the whole thing the whole way. So that's one of the main problems. After that, we fix the music and then go from there.
All right. So in other words, you don't trust.
Yeah. They don't trust. Well, the thing is, like, it's not even much as the trust. The thing is, like, if you're unwilling to listen, if you're inflexible, what can you say? You'll find a way around that problem since that person continues to be that problem. Many a man or a woman have been through that. So it's like, okay, if I can't talk to you, I'm gonna move around you. That's what, again, they dismiss the problem solving aspect because 9 times out of 10, the individual wants to remain the problem. They rather have the last word than a solid solution.
Right. So do you think a solution to that, Black Man, you're next, please. But do you think a solution to that would be to have like a pre-conversation to the conversation? You know what I'm saying? Let everybody know, like, put your guard down. We just trying to have some communication about an issue. You think that would help?
The ultimate solution is to divorce your negative narrative. I can never get an answer to what would you be with outside of that. And most people just don't know because that's all they care to know. They'll listen to people who support their fears and bias and whatnot. But why not take a shift in another direction? Because most people don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to fix themselves before anything. So they come broken and battered and expect you to mend them through gifts and other vapid trinkets.
Okay. All right, Black Man.
As we were talking earlier, because Security Boss, you so eloquently put it about how you are in your marriage and how God is so important. In the beginning, you always say this, Security Boss, so I'm just pulling this from you. The Bible says that he gave Adam dominion over everything. Not only did he give him control over everything, he told him to name everything out here. He gave him dominion over it. He gave men dominion over everything. So that means my grandmother used to say, baby, you got to take care of your family because when you die, you will be judged on what you did as a leader for your family. You are held accountable at a higher level than your wife or your children. He's going to hold you accountable for that. So then that means if I'm held accountable for my family, I must have some type of authority over my family or even in the community, as Jesus did. Jesus approached a prostitute. He approached every bad person. He sat with the tax collectors, which was against the law. Like, he did a lot of different things that broke the rules. But you're not remembered by the rules you follow. You're remembered by the rules you break. But let me keep going for a second here, because if he gave us dominion over everything, and women want leaders and kingdom men, and a kingdom man is subject to God and what God wants by the word, then us being on women, don't that fall in the line of leadership? Because if you out of line and your breast out, I should tell you. If you wearing something inappropriate, I should tell you. If you're in danger, I should pull you away from it. Because somebody said earlier in the chat, a man needs to be a man regardless of how you're being treated. Cool. So if God created me to be a leader and I see a woman out of line, I should be able to tell her she's out of line. If she needs protecting, I should be able to protect her. And I shouldn't get no pushback because this is what God created me to do as a leader. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Black Man, I definitely appreciate what you said, and I would agree 98% with that. But the only thing I can say is truth without love is like a sword.
It is.
And these grown people we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say.
Grown children.
I can't make that assumption. I just can say that they're grown-ups. Miss Sherelle, what would you have to add to this, ma'am?
You have a collect call from Sherelle.
Cricket Wireless, sponsored by.
No, it's one of y'all's messing with my
Yeah,
mic.
it's definitely because it's like, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
one of y'all got to mute because that's messing with my mic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, y'all.
I know it's speechless.
Get married, I guess. Go where you go. I feel like this. I'm echoing really bad.
Now keep going. I think we took care of it.
Okay. I feel like this. Like, I don't think the whole fear mongering thing, we're past that fear mongering thing of, oh, if you don't do it, somebody else will, and we'll leave you to die alone. Like, I think at some point when people basically tell you they don't want you no more, and y'all supposed to be a team, that person who's saying that they don't want to build with you or they don't want you or you're undesirable to them cannot think that you're gonna continue moving in with their best interests at heart. Because now you're in this solo thing and you're moving that way. And it's like, if you ain't got no compassion for me, then I don't have no compassion for you. And I kind of think that this is just a point where a majority of us are just not gonna get past. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was driving, I caught a flat tire, and some lady pulled over, some black lady with a bunch of tattoos. And there was a man on the way, said he was an hour away. He was gonna charge me $80 to come fix my tire. This lady got out. She was about 5'5". She had full of tattoos. She was a pretty lady. Fixed my tire. Then asked me for a dime. Said, I have 6 kids. All you gotta do is pray for me. Followed me to the next state line to make sure I didn't get flat again or nothing happened wrong to me. Made sure I got to my state line and I was good. So wherever somebody else falls short, you gotta understand somebody else gonna pick up. We're gonna look out for each other. Just because you find a problem with somebody don't mean they're gonna die off. It don't mean that black women don't have issues. Black women definitely have issues that they need to work on. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot or whatever. But when you start trying to make it seem like the other side is just perfect and we the only one that need to do work, that's when you start being disingenuous. And every time you start a disingenuous conversation, it's gonna be conflict. So don't prioritize the money. Everybody seems like they really need to just do a deep dive and focus on themselves and fix themselves eternally. So who are you? Work on you, work on your issues, and then come to the table with somebody who's worked on themselves eternally and try to fix that. But everybody pointing, when you point one finger, you got all these other fingers pointing back at you if you don't realize it. So
Very good, Sherelle. And I definitely agree with you. I think we both are a broken system, but I just think that advocacy for the men and creating that leadership and that following that they need, whatever it is, I think that's the answer because they are the heads. I just think that we can't just move on and be like, I think that they are the heads. But again, like you said, I think women are out of line and we need to correct ourselves within ourselves. And it has nothing to do with the black man. But it's another day. All right. So Anissa, go ahead, ma'am. All right, go ahead.
Okay. How do we move this conversation along? Are there women that are out of line and doing the wrong things and nowhere near ready to be anybody's wife? Absolutely. Are there men that are out of line doing the wrong things and nowhere near ready to be somebody's husband? Absolutely. So how do we get the men that are ready to be husbands and the women that are ready to be wives? How do we get those together? I think really needs, no, I think that needs to be the focus. Black man says it's over. I don't believe that it's over. I just think that for some reason we're not seeing each other, we're not meeting each other. I don't know, what the issue is exactly, but I will never buy into the narrative that, all Black women are just not worthy, not ready, don't bring anything to the table, don't have anything to offer. I will never buy into that narrative because I just know too many women that don't fit those examples. So why are Black men having trouble finding those women? I guess would be a good question for me. But really, how do we move it? How do we move it along? How do we get the right women with the right men?
For me, I would answer that question by saying, gosh, y'all mute up. I would answer that question by saying women, because I'm a woman. We need to, if we're wanting to be married and we want to be the wives and the ladies that we need to be, we need to put in the work. And it's so much power in our silence and our femininity. There's nothing to say. I think when we go to places where there is a strong negative energy that goes against what we actually want, we shouldn't be there. Shouldn't be there at all. We shouldn't be so strong in this sisterhood conversation that influence us negatively, because we already know and have already said not all men are this way. There are some men that are good men that want to be husbands. So don't allow someone to speak that energy or speak that noise into you, because you'll take it away and then you'll start believing it. We already learned that a lot of the things that women talk about are experiences of others. We've never experienced these things, but we're carrying them along like it's gospel, and it all paints the picture to make the man inept, where we should be trying to give credit to the ones that are doing the right work and want to be husbands again. Now, again, not everybody, every man or woman is going to totally have it together. That's what we're there for. We are there for each other to complete the circle, logical and emotional. Let's put it together. So we don't look for perfection. So once we learn that as a wife, that I'm supposed to be sacrificial, my job is to be a helpmeet, then it changes my vantage point on what that man should look like. I'm looking at him different now. Because, oh, he is a provider. Oh, he is a protector. Oh, I see man all over him. I bet he musky. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I say things like that. But that's how we get away from it. We stop the influence. It's all about an influence. There's somebody in these platforms every day that's willing to give you a stat that takes away from the majority of the Black man. They'll tell you about how Black women are being deleted every 5 hours. They'll tell you how Black men, they only end up in child support court. They don't like their children and all that stuff, all that negative stuff that we allow to get into our spirit. We got to stop. And, same for Black men. Whatever you've gone through, experiencing a Black woman that was negative, or that they're showing out and you see it like the women in Walmart, fix it. Don't tie into that. Go to the women. I ain't gonna say this in church, but I don't know. Go to the women somewhere else. Find another, like she said, check your algorithm. Make sure it's different. You have to pull away from this influence if you want to change the way you think. Otherwise, it's going to continue to ring in your head. And every time somebody says something that is familiar to you, you're going, yeah, you're right. She did it. She ain't no good or whatever. That's how it's going to be. So I would say first to move it along, to try to change our mindset and our thought process. You do some research on what it is you say you want. Also, if you say you want marriage, take it seriously and research it, because it may not be what you think, because it's definitely not a business. So that's what I would say, Anissa, to move it forward. So I hope that helped somebody. We also, I'm gonna say this and I'm done for the night. We also got to concentrate on our babies, y'all.
my son is 15. He's about to be 16 next month. And there's a young lady that likes my son. We got to start vetting for our children. Jesus Christ. And the little girl that likes him or whatever, my 14-year-old say, Dad, they go to the girl that like him. This girl is 15 as well. And she got eyelashes just way off her face, little speckled diamonds in her eyelashes and weave down all the way down her back. She look like she's 25 years old. Makeup, 4 or 5 layers of makeup on. And I say, son, he said, no, Daddy, but this is what she wrote me. She said she liked me. No, son, I don't think that's for you. I think should get with someone that loves themselves. It's clear that this young lady does not love herself. You need to, if someone likes you, it's okay for you to say no and move on and find you somebody that can jump in a swimming pool without suffocating themselves with prosthetics that they have on their bodies. And I'm trying to be funny, but it's real. These young girls are 15. Got the eyelashes, the layers of makeup, the weed that's just stuck to it. I mean, be 15, baby.
But they're emulating something that they've seen.
Yes.
That's not their thoughts. I don't know. Let me say this, and it ain't for your son to do this per se, but somebody needs to say, girl, you don't need all that. And that she trusts and maybe cares about. You don't need all that, because for them, they just doing makeup. It's almost like, you know what I'm saying? They just get made up because they saw somebody else doing it. It's that influence thing. And it goes back to the social media and the phone and stuff. But listen, guys, it's been a terrific conversation. I hope somebody got something out of it. It's been a long one, but I want to do these super chats really quick and I'm going to get out of here. And Anissa and Sherelle, y'all have been excellent for me as always. Black Men and Ronan, you know it. Y'all are always there for me. So I appreciate you all. In the comment section, outstanding. But Red left us a $9.99 super chat and he said, Sherelle, you brought the harsh challenge. Black men reap the benefits of other men's work. And Chinese women are submissive because they were raised by Chinese men. Sad reality, Black man.
Yep.
Dre says she's not wrong according to the word. God checked Adam, not Eve, because he's the lead. Yeah. She was deceived, but God held him responsible. Sure. Most men aren't submitted to God. You're right. Mm-hmm. You're right. They're not. They don't know this part of life. I agree with you.
But when they are, they dangerous. When they are, they dangerous.
Dre says, I thank you, Dre, for this $5 super chat. He says, silly women lead captive by their own lust, always searching, but never coming to the knowledge men submit to God, and women need to be taught.
Mm-hmm.
Anissa, Dre says, Anissa, God is the connector. Without him, it's hard. Yep, it's very difficult, and y'all proved that tonight. But I hope somebody's listening, and we're gonna continue to move the conversation, because as we did this, and no one spoke over each other, y'all. At least we heard each other. Maybe not everybody in the comment section understood or agreed, but we're gonna continue to have the conversation. But I will agree too with the ladies and gentlemen that are in the comment section when they say the message is so different from one platform to another. You're right. I get it. But this is really true that some platforms are straight entertainment and others are meant to help you grow. So Dre says, when you change the way you see a thing, the thing you see changes.
Come on,
all
boy.
about perception. Like you said, SB, a different vantage point, God's viewpoint.
Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good.
Very good.
All right, y'all. Have a good night. What? Oh. Huh? I can't hear you. Oh, okay. Listen, guys, if you all have a channel, go ahead and shout it out. Black man, I know you got one. Go ahead and shout your channel. And Ronan, you do the same.
Yeah, Black Men Unfiltered Network. Tomorrow, for the last 4 weeks, we've been talking about marriage, relationships, children, and family, nuclear family. Tomorrow, we talk about sexless marriages. Should I stay or should I go? It's going to be a real good conversation tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Round, let's keep spinning.
All right, Ronan, go ahead.
And my channel is the Book of Ronan on YouTube. It's under construction right now, but you'll catch me on season on every Wednesday.
You want that old jive swing? You take up all of the floor. I'm standing at the edge of the door. You be the life of the party.
All right, guys. So listen, on Wednesday night, y'all make sure that you all find me and Ronan over there on cruise season. We're going to be having a good time. We're going to be continuing on. Who knows what we're going to be talking about? I don't know, but it's 10:30 Eastern time and 9:30. What time are you? Central Time? Is it 9:30 Central?
Or you can also catch me on the Foundational Manhood podcast.
Say that again.
Foundational Manhood podcast.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. Guys, listen, it's been a terrific night. Y'all have a good night. Queen Smiley, hello. Goodbye. I didn't get to say hello to you. I saw you coming in, but we was in the middle of a conversation. But listen, thank y'all for coming. We'll see y'all soon. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Dearly beloved.
Why you always gotta go? Playing house, this ain't a home with your soul on the road. See, I've been lost in my thoughts, and my thoughts they too scared to usher off. Sorry, Mom, I just thought you were my world. Now you're not. And I'm just sitting, smoking, sloping in the days, cause my days ain't been the same since I drove your away. I remember the way you wrote letters in blue ink. You and me was in love. Think about what your crew think. I know your moms probably think I'm a bastard. Your pops probably want to beat my death and take a in my casket. But I got sick of fighting, bickering, fussing over nothing, cussing. Instead of watching the death of discussions that we once had, days that we once spent in the backseat of our cars, reading poets at sunset. It's funny how love can pull out the foreground, get pushed into the back of your mind. We used to twist a spliff and laugh and relax. Are you crying? And I'm trying to find the reason, so I ask, does forever ever happen, or is it always fade to black? I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road. I can't stay. No, I always gotta go. Playing house, this ain't a home with my soul on the road.